Hey everyone, welcome back to the Nintendo Prime Podcast, episode 15 of season 2. We have kind of an interesting panel tonight. We do not have Mr. Andres Restart tonight because he is at the Mario movie. He went to that tonight. I went to it earlier today. I know Eric did. I think Mike saw it last week. Mike, if he's awake, I have no idea, but we'll get to him in a little bit. First up, how's it going? I'm Nathaniel RoboJets. I'm the host of Nintendo Prime. Directly in the middle to my left, your guys' right, is Eric Moore. How you doing, bud?
Good. A little confused, but
he's trying to edit like an audio version of the podcast while we're doing this. Right next to him, we have, I don't know, the one, the only, Wes Nemo. How you doing?
What's going on, fellas? How we doing? What's up, guys?
Heck yeah. Now, below Wes, we have original co-host of the Nintendo Prime podcast. Used to be my right-hand man back in Zelda Informer. He is the OG of OGs, Darren. How you doing, bud?
What's up, everybody? Good as always.
Nice. Next to him, we got the now hooded Mike Odyssey.
Never give up. Ready on.
Yeah, he's not feeling 100% right now, so don't be surprised if he doesn't talk too much. Although I'm sure he'll have a few things to say during the Mario movie segment. Because yes, folks, we will be talking about the Mario movie today. It is launch day, like for the Mario movie. Won't be doing any spoilers, just some basic discussion and impressions. Basic discussion and impressions. We're not gonna try really hard not to spoil anything. It's kind of hard to talk about a movie without spoiling things, but we're going to attempt anyways. See how that goes, because obviously movies are like all story. So, anyways,
wait, does Mario save the princess?
No, actually, sorry, ruined that one for you.
I mean, the plot is already out there. You know,
it's well known they're saving Luigi, but
yeah.
And then we got Kat Bergeson down there right below me. How's it going, buddy?
Oh, always good. Always happy to be here.
I know. You ready to talk some Zelda today, bud?
Always ready to talk Zelda.
That's a good answer.
always ready.
Always.
Yeah, I mean, I did see you over there on Andres' channel the other day, and I was like,
oh man,
look at these lore lads going at it.
Yeah, we got carried away. It was great. He kept having to get us back on track because he's like, oh yeah, we're gonna answer all these questions. We'd start answering one question, and it would lead to one tangent and then another tangent.
Yep.
He's like, okay, we gotta reel it back in.
You got two people who like to go on tangents, and they're the only two people there.
It was a great time. It was a great discussion.
I listened for about an hour. I'm like, that's pretty good. All right. So we're gonna start a podcast the way we start every single show with what have we been playing lately. And you know what? Let's kick it over to Wes Nemo. What have you been playing lately?
Ooh, I've been grinding, homies. I finally beat Elden Ring. I am the Elden Lord. Finally got that knocked out. You know, after many controllers, one at least. We got it done. I gotta beat the Melania, I think her name is. So getting ready for Shadow Verdtree.
There we go. Nice, man.
Hell yeah.
You're one step ahead of me. I haven't beat it yet. So
yeah, so I'm not a Soulsborne guy, but like this one, it's like if the world wasn't beautiful, I probably wouldn't touch it. I'm not even kidding.
But
I haven't beat it either, but I love it so much. I gotta go back and beat it.
Absolutely. Speaking of that, Darren, what have you been playing lately? What have you been playing the last handful of years? I don't even know what you do in your life anymore.
Well, let's see. I've been playing a lot of Modern Warfare 2. I got the mastery grind done. I've been racking up some wins on Warzone 2. And as I do usually before a new Zelda game comes out, I go and play a previous one. So I've been doing a 100% run of Majora's Mask. I figure Ocarina of Time, the Majora's Mask, now Breath of the Wild, to Tears of the Kingdom seems like the right thing to do. So I'm not a 100% playthrough guy typically, but I figured I'd go for it this time. So because Majora's Mask is a game I haven't played in a while, so it's nice to explore that world again.
Which version of Majora's Mask are we playing?
The Nintendo Switch Online. I'm doing it on the Switch.
I'm making sure we're not going with the 3DS version. No, don't get me wrong. It's a fine game, and I parroted Operation Moonfall to make that game happen.
Oh, I remember.
But also, they ruined an important chunk of the game with some of the changes they made. So
I played it and I loved it. I have the gold new Nintendo 3DS XL Majora's Mask edition. Love it, but the original originals always have charm to them, you know.
Oh yes. All right. Let's. Mike, do you want to talk about what you've been playing this week, or do you want to be skipped?
Sure, I'll say it. I'll
All right.
talk. So I started a marathon. I can't remember
I
when.
noticed.
I can't remember when I started.
Probably why you got sick.
5 days ago. I skipped today. Sorry, guys. I have a lot of people in chat. So, what you doing streaming today? Of course, we have a podcast today. So, but
Priorities.
yeah. So we are doing a countdown 40, 47 days now, right? 47 days, 37 days, 37 days. 37 days to Tears of the Kingdom. So we're doing a live stream every single night until the game comes out, playing Breath of the Wild in master mode from the beginning. And then hopefully once we get to Tears of the Kingdom, I'm already beating the game by then. So that's what's going on now. Yeah. And besides little Mario here and then just to keep the spirit alive because it's Mario movie,
Sure, yeah.
so
Absolutely.
yeah. Bowser's Fury, my favorite game of all time.
All right, well, you
good one.
keep taking care of yourself. You can get back at that stream tomorrow.
It comes to I have to. I got my G Fuel code, Mike.
Yeah, I don't know if G Fuel helps with this part. Keeps you hydrated, I guess. That's about it. Cap Ergson, what have you been playing lately, bud?
Oh man, I juggle games, but I actually just finished another 100% run of Breath of the Wild that I started a few months ago, and I've been like on and off with because I was like, I wanted to give this game another honest go, but between now and Tears of the Kingdom, so I just wrapped that up last night. It felt good, but it was kind of bittersweet, if I'm being honest, because it's like I'm a little sentimental about the game now, because it feels like the end of an era, and especially. Just when that game was coming out, like that was like a burgeoning time for me on the online space, we'll say. So yeah, it feels a little bittersweet. But I've also been playing another noteworthy game called Kena Bridge of Spirits, which is lovely, gorgeous game. It's but it kind of ties back because the studio responsible for it, it's an impressive technical piece and it's a debut indie title, but their last project before that was a well-known Majora's Mask fan film. So they went from making this incredible fan film to making this incredible video game, and it's like these guys just they don't lose. Everything they touch is gold. What the hell? It's amazing. So I definitely recommend Kena. It's a brilliant game, really fun, and it's beautiful. So there you go. I'm going to stop talking now and just hand it off.
Yeah, that game looks amazing. I haven't actually played it yet.
Okay, do it.
It looks so good. Yeah,
Do it.
It was on my must-buy list a long time ago, and I just got caught up with YouTube and forgot. I shouldn't. That's
really good.
Caught up in the grind.
I've stopped in on a couple of your live streams, Cap, and just kind of lurked for a little bit, and
that's what he does. He's the master lurker.
Yeah, right. No, and I agree that game does look incredible. So
the thing is too, I'm streaming the PS4 version, and the PS5 version is even more gorgeous. So just putting that out there.
What's it? Well, how do you spell it? Kena?
Kena, and it's called Bridge of Spirits.
I heard a whole bunch of words now.
Let's look up Ember Lab.
Kena.
Yeah, Ember Lab is the studio.
Kena.
Yeah, it's on PS4, PS5.
Yeah, there was actually a rumor that PlayStation was going to acquire them, but I don't know if anything happened with that.
Ooh, this looks nice. Nice.
Yeah, and Taker610 wants to remind Cap Ferguson that he's his favorite YouTube channel.
Oh my god!
He focuses solely on games that aren't Zelda though, and I'm his favorite Microsoft channel. So.
That's so sweet.
I don't remember the last time I even made I made a PlayStation video today. I don't remember the last time I made a Microsoft video. Yeah. But thanks,
Microsoft
Taker.
gang. I'm repping my Xbox headset. What's up?
And as I remind people always during our live show, any super chats get featured, and that just happened to be the first one. So all right. Eric, what have you been playing lately? He's laughing, so I already know the answer.
As everybody in the chat always reminds me, I'm not a true gamer. Or the comments. Sorry, not chat. Chat's always awesome. Comment sections are always, this guy's not a gamer. Blah, blah, blah. Does he ever play games? Well, you're right. I don't, but I can't argue with him. I do here and there.
He beat Breath of the Wild.
I did.
He beat Super Mario Odyssey.
I did.
He beat Mario plus Rabbids, both of them.
Yeah, he's a gamer. Huh?
Yeah,
he beat
Cowabunga Collection.
Cowabunga Collection. Also
Okay.
beat
No, Shredder's Revenge.
Shredder's Revenge.
Sorry,
Shredder's Revenge.
So he's
Yep,
beat a
Shredder's
bunch of
Revenge.
games. That tells me he's a gamer. What else do I need
Well,
to hear?
There you
here's
go.
the thing, though. Like, we might have just listed every game he's beaten in the last 5 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
So,
okay.
like,
The fake gamer is
But
not
here's the
real. The
thing.
fake gamer can't hurt you.
when he won, here's the thing. Like, the next game he's going to beat is probably Tears of the Kingdom. Like, that's just.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
me
know,
too,
unless you
after
pick up an
Majora's
indie game in
Mask.
between.
yeah.
But
I mean, I dabbled a little bit with like Tunic and stuff, but that wasn't this week. I mean, that was before, and
Tunic's a good game.
I couldn't quite
Tunic's
get
so
into it.
good.
It wasn't. I just couldn't quite figure out what to do because the Xbox version. I don't know if it's not supposed to be in English or what, but it wasn't in English.
Oh
so.
no, that's there is okay. I'm gonna show you something. This is what popular commenter Natsu calls my crazy person notebook. The language in Tunic is a fake made up language, and if you work hard enough, you can translate this stuff. And it's fully
okay. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Nerd. Love it. I love it. That is absolutely amazing.
It's so
but-
good.
yeah, that reminds me of old school games. Like, I used to have notebooks and notebooks filled of just.
No,
information.
absolutely, for sure we did. But no, I mean it's I could see the appeal to it. I just couldn't I couldn't quite get fully into it. But yeah, no, that's I mean, apparently, like I said, I'm not a true gamer. I didn't game this week, so
I know adults.
It's niche.
having
You
that,
cut yourself
right?
some slack there. It's niche and it's hard. So don't worry. Don't cut
Don't
yourself
worry
some
too
slack, man.
Cut yourself some slack. All right. As for me, well, you guys know I streamed yesterday Breath of the Wild Master Mode. I've never actually beaten the game on Master Mode, so my goal is to beat it before Master Mode, before Tears of the Kingdom comes out. Unfortunately, some people, no, I don't plan to 100% it. I'm sorry. Don't feel like doing 900 Korok seeds again. It's just a thing. Maybe we'll do all the shrines. But like, look, it's a golden poop, and you're just collecting little turds the whole time. They're not actually seeds.
Doing all the shrines is easy. The seeds is just so grindy.
But I will say this: if I beat all the shrines in the main story like before Tears of the Kingdom comes out, I'll just keep playing the game, and if I happen to 100% it, then cool. But that's not really, maybe we'll at least do all the side quests or something. I have no idea. We'll see how it goes, because I basically every single night that I stream on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays is going to be Breath of the Wild, while also doing a Q&A and talking about things. So it's just adding a little spice to my typical streams for now, because I'm pumped. I'm pumped, man. Tears of the Kingdom. If you watch my channel, it's like the only thing I talk about now. I've morphed into a Zelda YouTube. Who knew that would happen with a Zelda?
Old habits die hard.
Like it's just like there was someone the other day. They're like, dude, I love your videos. How the hell are you coming up with like 2 or 3 Zelda topics a day? I'm like, oh, you don't even know.
Yeah, you have no idea.
This used to be.
Idea.
This is my zone, baby. Don't you worry about it. I can come up with 5 videos a day if I want. I just don't got time to make them.
Before he was Nintendo Prime, he was the boss man. So
he was the boss.
I was the boss.
Never forget.
Never forgetting. So that's what I'm doing right now. And that's pretty much all I'm going to be playing until Tears of the Kingdom comes out, because I want to have Breath of the Wild fully fresh when Tears of the Kingdom comes out, because I feel like that's the best way for me to determine how different it really is, not by going off of, old memories from years ago. No. I want it fresh. I want the world fresh. I want everything fresh. So then when I play it, I can be like, oh, this is really, really different, or, oh, maybe it's not. And that's the conversation. So, that's one reason why I want to make sure that's super fresh in my mind. So that's all I'm playing from now until then. And again, you guys will see me playing it pretty much exclusively all my lives, because I'm not going to play it in between, because I want to make sure you guys get to enjoy me trying to beat it with you guys. Our next segment here is where we just kind of get into some news topics that have happened over the last week or so, usually in particular with Nintendo, although we'll bring up one topic that wasn't. First off, the CEO and the president of Creatures Inc. has stepped down. So no, this does not necessarily mean there's major changes coming to Pokemon. They are obviously one of the companies involved. Yeah. The new CEO is Yuji Kitano. I probably butchered the name, but that's who it is. Tomotaka Kamaru, again, I know I'm butchering these Japanese names, forgive me, will serve as the executive vice president of Creatures Inc. Of note, the former CEO of Creatures Inc. that stepped down which is Ishishara. He is still CEO of the Pokemon Company. That he hasn't removed himself from that role. So he was actually serving CEO at both. He stepped down from one. He's still running the Pokemon Company. And as far as we're aware, that role isn't being impacted. Whether or not he's considering also stepping down in the Pokemon Company, we have no idea. Because obviously we don't know why he stepped down in the first place, because they haven't really released a public statement on it yet. So I'm sure that's to come at some point within, maybe at the next financial briefing or something. Another story that popped up is, over the last week, Nintendo of Europe changed their policies sort of stealthily behind the scenes, like on their support page saying, hey, in these X countries like the UK and Sweden, we're going to now repair Joy-Cons for free. The very thing that France has been doing this whole time, the United States has been doing this whole time. And basically, it's sort of admitting that Joy-Con drift is a problem, but without saying the word Joy-Con drift. So they'll fix all Joy-Con problems. It doesn't matter what it is. They don't target specifically drift, but that's why they've been doing these free repairs, is because of it. But of course, it happens stealthily, because as we found out, the entire reason Nintendo of Europe changed their policy is because the European Commission told them they had to, or they were going to be fined a lot of money. So that would be explain why they never announced the change. They just put it in the subtext on their support pages because the European Commission forced them to. Nintendo of Europe was actually playing hardball and didn't want to make the change. It's kind of sad to hear that, especially when other avenues of Nintendo, like Nintendo of France, already made the change proactively a long time ago. Obviously, we know Nintendo of America made the change a long time ago. Nintendo of Japan did it. So why Nintendo of Europe was being a big stickler about it, I don't know. Maybe they just don't have, maybe they were afraid that they don't have enough repair specialists to repair the number of Joy-Cons that we sent in. That has been an issue that's cropped up, at least in America. We like certain waves. There'll just be a whole, you'll send your Joy-Cons in. Sometimes you don't get them back for 2 months. Sometimes you send them in and get them back in 3 days. Like it's kind of a random pick of the draw how busy they are. So maybe that has something to do with it, but that's also trying to give Nintendo credit. Bottom line is they were forced to make this change. Should have never had to be forced, or they should just make controllers that don't break. That that fixes all of this.
That's a bold topic right there, because I was lucky for a long time. I've had a launch Switch since March 3rd on launch day, and I still have the original Joy-Cons, and they just started to drift. All these
you got
years
lucky.
Later,
Yeah.
I got lucky.
You got very lucky.
So the fact that now finally Nintendo of Europe is offering that, even though they were forced to, which is shitty, but they are doing it now, which, shout out to the boys in Europe. You can get your Joy-Con fixed now. This is really something that should have been in place from the start. I mean, Nintendo has obviously known this is a big issue since the console launch.
Yeah.
Not many people who have a Switch have many complaints about it. I know I don't, but I think the number one is the controllers. When there's a glaring issue like that they won't really address in certain areas of business, that's a problem, and I'm glad that the European Commission stepped in.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks. Obviously, in an ideal world, Nintendo would just admit there was a problem and switch out the Joy-Cons by now. I mean, there's already third-party replacements from Ghoulie Kit you can buy of Hall sensing ones that are way better and don't have drift problems. They could have just licensed those. Yeah, it makes it more expensive. You're already charging $80 for a pair of Joy-Cons, and the price hasn't really gone down. So I don't see a reason they haven't improved them, but I presume it's just legal purposes. They actually have a ton of pending lawsuits over it because Nintendo's been deny that there's a problem, that this isn't abnormal, that this is what every controller does, when it's very clearly significantly worse on Switch than the other platforms. But what are you going to do? Nintendo can't admit fault, or they lose a bunch of lawsuits, which Nintendo could afford to eat the losses, but whatever. All we can really hope is that their next system, they actually fix the problem that isn't a problem.
Great.
But who knows? This is Nintendo, and as Nintendo often reminds us here and then, they are a corporation that wants to make money. So that's number one goal for them. Next up, well, before I get to this one, because this kind of leads into our first topic, the one story I forgot to add, because it was sort of a new one that popped up today, was that the PlayStation's launching apparently a new handheld, rumored new handheld coming out called, well, it's codenamed Q Lite. That's not going to be the name of it. Yeah. But it is actually a streaming handheld. It is not a, standalone system. It does require the internet, and it allows you to stream PlayStation 5 games to the handheld. Reminds me pretty much of exactly what the Wii U gamepad did back in the day, except the Wii U gamepad also worked with your TV. So I could argue there was extra functionality. You know, we also had a TV remote button for some reason, because that's the thing they needed to add on.
Who used that?
Like, hey, I used it one time when I lost my remote. That was about it. So I don't know, kind of a weird thing that they're doing. I don't really understand it, but
the one unfortunate catch is you're gonna have to own a PS5, and it's basically just like a remote play device.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know if it'll be able to stream like other games like on their cloud service.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right now it's rumored to just be remote play, and it's like
what is this? What's the point of this console?
No,
and then
you did
got,
this
like,
before. You tried this with Vita. It didn't really work, and at least Vita could play its own games.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, like,
I don't think they're trying to compete with like Nintendo or anything like that. I think they're just trying to like, compete with or just have like an offer that they can, sell to people that want to use their PS5 like around their house or like even on the go or whatever. But yeah, I mean, what I will say though is, like, I don't know if you guys have heard of Chiaki. It's like the remote play. It's like the open source remote play that's like way better than PS Remote Play.
Yep.
If it's not as good as that, then like I don't see this device being even worth it. So.
I like, that's the thing. So far, the experiences with PlayStation Remote Play haven't been that great. The Xbox Remote Play hasn't been that great either. And if this doesn't offer a significant improvement, then I don't know why it exists. Like it, and even then, a lot of the reactions have been kind of like, really? So you're just offering a really expensive PlayStation 5 controller. Got it.
Yeah. If it had like other services like NVIDIA's.
If it enables that. But I mean, it's a PlayStation device.
But even then, like, it'd be a great machine for Game Pass. Like if Xbox released a handheld that was like a cloud streaming handheld and had Game Pass on, it'd be perfect,
I also want to wait for the official announcement.
Yeah, obviously you have to wait for the official stuff. But anyways, I don't know. It's just a story that's out there. Wanted to mention it. It's not them directly trying to compete with Nintendo, but it is them trying to offer an in-home option to play PlayStation 5 anywhere. Some people might love it. Some people might hate it. It's probably, in my opinion, if I had to guess, if this thing exists and it's just remote play. Look, they reported the PlayStation VR 2 sales weren't very good. I think the sales of this would be even worse, but I don't know what they expect to sell. The expectations could be different.
I use my Steam Deck for like for remote play anyway with Chiaki, and like around the house having my PlayStation 5 like in my bed without having to like move it. It's great. Like I love it. So if PlayStation can offer that experience just at the home, then I think it could work,
That's the hope. It's kind of like cloud gaming. Like there are certain cloud gaming things that just work and work really well. Unfortunately, that's not true across the board. And so it's very frustrating when like people being all against cloud gaming. It's like, look, in certain situations, it's great. It's just every service isn't the same. And I don't know why.
Stadia.
Yeah, like even like the GeForce Now stuff, like why companies won't support it. You still have to own the games. It makes no sense. It's a really weird world we're living in, but hopefully PlayStation, at least if this device isn't going to be popular, at least have it be where the people that do buy it get what they expect out of it. And that is high quality, remote play. Like being able to play the PlayStation 5 with minimal latency is very important on a home network. So,
or stream the PlayStation Plus subscription for
PlayStation
3 games.
Even that. Yeah. So that's just sort of a bonus story I wanted to throw in there, not necessarily about Nintendo, but we're going to end with this story because it kind of leads to our first topic, and that is that the reviews are in for the Mario movie, which, by the way, for those who don't know, living under a rock, on most of the world today, the Mario movie is available. Some of you guys have seen it. Some of you guys haven't. Some of you guys are going tonight. Maybe we have less people watching the show right now because people are going to the Mario movie tonight. It's kind of expected. So maybe they'll catch the show after. But reviews are in, and while the critics, they don't like it.
Critics are idiots.
Pretty much at all.
Especially Rotten Tomatoes.
Last I checked, it was like a 54%. I don't know. It's not good.
Rotten Tomatoes, it's 54.
The audience score, I originally had 98%. It's actually dropped to 96%, but still, like, that's really, really high for an audience score. So people going to the movie are loving it, but the critics don't. Talk about that in a moment. So also one other thing just to note, and this I understand being a little bit upset about it. Grant Kirkhope came out and said that he's pretty upset that he didn't get any credits in the actual movie credits for the DK rap that does get played partially in there. Because he wrote the song, he composed the song. It's literally his work. Granted, Nintendo owns the rights to it, so they can do what they want. But it's one of those like, hey, it would have been nice to get like a little a little credit in the movie credit for something that he created musically. And unfortunately, he didn't get any credit, and he voiced his opinion. He's pretty upset about it. Fans have been pretty upset about it for him as well, because it makes sense. We're not talking about like making sure that somebody who created the Fire Flower asset gets credit. We're talking about like actual art in terms of like music. There's not a ton of like put it this way, when you watch the credits of the movie, all the other songs have credits of all the original creators of the music, but not his song. And that I think that's why he's taking it pretty personal right now, because why is everyone else getting credit and I'm not? It could have just been an oversight, of course, but I don't know. It's pretty well known who composed and wrote that song. So.
Absolutely. I mean, massive respect to that guy. I mean, he's known in the gaming community, obviously, for that song. And the fact that he's not in the credits seems sort of like a snub to me. Maybe it was an oversight, but I feel
if it's
like
an oversight, I think they'll correct it in like the DVD release or something.
Yeah.
But I don't see it being an oversight, though. I mean,
I think I do see it being an oversight. I see it being an oversight because, without giving away too much, it's not a main song in the movie. It's just a little bit. It's just like a hit of a scene that kind of motivates a crowd in that particular scene. If it were a full song,
what did I just say at this point with the scene? Everyone, it's literally in the commercials.
So I think Seth Rogen even like said in an interview that like it plays when he makes his entrance as DK, right? So
I feel like it's an oversight.
It's that scene, guys, when DK comes in and the fight thing.
Yeah,
we'll see. Hopefully, if it is an oversight, they'll correct it in future releases. That would be nice to see.
It would be nice
Grant
to see
is a legend.
like,
he deserves the best. Like he deserves better than that. Like,
it's not like the full song that plays, but it's enough of it that they're doing it for reference sake that he should be credited, because he's the one.
It's worth the point. It's worth putting in the credits the song from Donkey Kong 64. If it's worth putting that in the credits, the DK rap from Donkey Kong 64, it's worth putting his name under it.
Absolutely.
You know, and because this song is in the credits, it's just not his name.
But his name's not next to it when he's the one who wrote and like it's his original work. So it just I feel his pain, and I get why he's a little angry, because a lot of other composers got credit that didn't do anything for it, but were the originals of the song, and for some reason he didn't get credit. I understand. I feel for him. And I said, hopefully they rethink it for the movie release, the DVD release, and the streaming release, or maybe they don't. I have no idea, because, to be fair, he doesn't own any rights to it, so Nintendo can kind of do whatever they want.
I mean, it's also not.
It's more like a moral thing.
And nowadays that almost all movie theaters are now digital, it's very, very easy to just make a fix, send out a new copy, and go play this one. They can easily do that too. It's really
but I doubt they'll do that.
It's not like it's film anymore where you have to literally splice it in and stuff like that. It's easy enough to just go, here's the new copy, play this one, done.
Yeah, I mean, don't think they'll do that though.
No, I mean,
all the theaters already have their copies.
I'm sure it'll be fixed by streaming.
Oh, for sure.
Or it won't. We've actually seen this happen many times over.
I mean, even in the gaming industry as well.
Yeah.
Even in gaming, like there's so many times where like contractors work on a game and then they get fired because their contract is up.
Yeah,
they're just not credited at all. It's like in the gaming industry and movies and stuff.
Dude, we've seen that a lot. Like there's characters in games that like play huge roles, but because you weren't here all the way to the end because your contract ended. Yeah, but I did everything for that character, and they're in there for like 3 hours, and I get no credit for that work. Like that's and for them, they want the credit because it helps them get future jobs. It's not like Grant's complaining that he doesn't have work. He's well respected. He gets tons of work. It's more of he's not asking for royalties. He's not asking for money. He's just like, dude, that was my creation, man. Like at least shout me out. Just give me that shout out. And I've talked to Grant.
Yeah,
he's let us use music on our E3 show back in the day. Like he's super nice. He doesn't care about music, right? Crap. He just, hey, if I made something, just let people know that was me. That's it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, but this does lead into the first topic, and that is the Mario movie, which obviously came out. I don't know how many of you guys saw it. I saw it today. I know Eric saw it. Mike has seen it. Has anyone else here seen it?
I have not seen it yet.
I have not yet. I have my tickets booked for Saturday though.
Friday night.
We got Saturday, we got Friday, then we got West that's gone. No, I'm good.
No, not yet. I've been going to sleep at 8 a.m. Thank you, Elden Ring. So my schedule is kind of opposite right now.
Priorities.
I can relate.
Yeah.
So
Fair,
once
that's
it gets reset, it's slowly getting there. I'll be going to the film.
On a
Yeah.
side note, how nice is it when you have all the lights off and you're like, "Oh, I'll go play Elden Ring," and that giant white Bandai Namco screen comes up and just blinds you like the sun?
Flashbang, yeah.
That's always welcome.
Yeah, just leave the TV off for a moment and then turn it on.
Yeah.
Oh man. For those of us that saw it, obviously we're gonna be a little spoiler free talking about it.
So spoiler free.
As spoiler free as we can be. As spoiler free as we can be. It's
spoiler
really hard to be like obviously everything in the commercials is open game, but you guys have already seen all that stuff.
Mhm.
So it's gonna be a pretty short topic, but basically, first off, is it good or do we agree with the critics? Let's
Darth
just start with
Vader
that.
is Luke's father.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, you said no spoilers.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Damn it,
Darren, how could you do this?
You ruined it.
This movie to me is amazing. To me, it's amazing. It's an incredible movie, animated. I mean, they hit every mark. If you watch the movie, there will be a little bit for you. Wherever you entered into the Mario series, whether you're an old school fan from the NES to the very last Mario Odyssey, you'll see something for you and you'll love it because they literally put a little everything within this movie. So I mean, they did a fantastic job. They did a good
I'm
job.
glad to hear that because
Yeah.
I obviously haven't seen it yet. Seen it Friday, but when they announced they were making a Mario movie, I was expecting that they would put little bits and pieces here, callbacks to different games, old and
Yeah.
new. So I'm happy to hear that that's a thing.
And the way they did it is man, they did a fantastic job. The way they did it just blends so well together too.
Yeah, they played, to anyone who's a fan of the games, which I assume most people watching my channel, that's what you know Mario from. If you're a kid, maybe you know it from some other stuff, but I think they paid very good homage to the Mario series and even Nintendo in general.
Mhm.
If you're like an old school Nintendo fan that's been playing this whole time, there are some things that happen in there that you're just going to jump out of your seat because it's just like you can't believe that they referenced this or they went to here. And they paid really good respect to the IP, despite the fact that, we're not saving Peach, we're saving Luigi. It didn't really matter. They did a really good job, and it kind of made sense the way they treated Luigi with his actual character from the games. It really made a lot of sense. So I do feel like they did a really, really good job. I understand the criticism of the story a little bit. All I will say is, if you've played Mario games and you're fans of Mario games and you don't expect it to be a Paper Mario story, but you expect it just to be a Mario story, then it's really good.
Yeah.
Like I think some moviegoers that were criticizing it are people that have never touched a Mario game in their life and they just don't know.
I also think that they're adults and they're expecting an adult movie from a kid's movie.
Yeah.
Where kids, I mean, they can get into some depth, but they only have the attention span and comprehension of so much.
Here's what I've learned about critics with kids movies. The movies that get rated really high by critics are the ones that have a message.
Mm-hmm.
They have a message. It's a learning experience, so your children can learn something.
Mm-hmm.
Even though most kids watching Frozen, Moana, and all the rest didn't learn anything other than to sing the songs.
Yeah,
that's really what they learned from it.
They learned the lyrics.
Right. They learned the lyrics.
Yeah, catchy song.
They learned that changing shape shifting is cool, or that making ice castles is fun. They didn't really learn a lesson, but the critics will be like, "But they could have learned a lesson."
Could have learned a lesson.
So this is a 10 out of 10.
I mean,
and they're like, I'll tell you right now, there's not really a lesson to learn here. It's just a fun
I think
kid
there
movie.
is. I think there is. I think there is.
It's hard to talk about it because we can't talk about spoilers.
But you'll see there is. All I'm gonna say is it's very Frozen-esque. The lesson. It's very Frozen-esque. Like Frozen from Disney. Very Frozen-esque.
I disagree, but that's okay. Because here's the problem: we can't talk about it. So
right,
it just makes you all right. We're starting the spoiler cast. No, I'm just kidding. We're not spoiling.
No.
It's day one. Can't be talking about it day one.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think they nailed the music in this.
Oh yeah. For sure.
The music was great.
Great.
I need a soundtrack fast. I need to get that soundtrack, and I hope they let us stream the soundtrack too.
Yeah, that's the big thing. We probably won't because it's a movie.
Yeah, it's Nintendo.
Yeah, they won't.
Right.
Nintendo lets us stream game music, but not movie stuff. So, it was really, really good.
Yeah.
I have no complaints. Really,
I will say there is an ending credits thing.
There's two
of them.
See that? There
is a mid roll and there is an end roll.
Yeah.
I was the only one in my theater that stayed through the end because I knew it.
Yeah.
So don't be those people that leave after the mid
All
roll.
right.
So
I can't wait to
Really?
hold in my pee until
After
Right.
the credits.
Yeah,
Mario Cinematic
they are
Universe.
pulling a Marvel and setting up a new thing. That's all
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
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 Right. I mean,
I'm
I so
excited.
kind of
Yeah.
counterpoint something Eric said here is I'm not usually one to buy into the whole like, well, it's a kids movie, so it can't be deep kind of narrative. Because I think that there is always a little bit of room to have your cake and eat it too in that regard. But at the same
Yeah.
time, like not every movie, and I haven't seen it yet, of course, as
Yeah.
I mentioned. But I mean, the thing with a lot of these critics things that I'm seeing is that like I think they fail to understand like some movies are going to be your Christopher Nolan movies that are you're going to walk away through and it's going to be introspective and deep, and some movies are going to be kind of just fun rides to go through
No,
and just
absolutely.
an enjoyable experience. And
just to clarify
it's like
myself, Cap, too.
oh yeah, no for sure.
I'm not saying that just because it's a kids movie it can't have story.
Right.
I think just some critics go into it thinking it's going to be like the never-ending story, like this big in-depth adventure. When all it needs is to be a surface story. It doesn't have to be majorly in depth. And I think that's kind of more where I was going. So sorry.
What it is, it's a light-hearted story. It's a light-hearted story, and there's a light-hearted message in it too. So it's not like a very deep, message in there, but there's a light-hearted message in there too.
But
I'll say
the
this.
way I see it, it's like we all like ice cream, right? But imagine if like a food critic who is used to fine dining and goes to only 5-star restaurants and writes reviews of those 5-star restaurants with the really high end food, and then they went to review an ice cream parlor, and it's like, well, look. We just want to enjoy our ice cream, guys. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not going to be.
It didn't have the gold flakes. The scoops weren't perfectly round and matched.
I'm not looking
every
for a
restaurant.
lesson.
Well, all you guys have to know is
for that.
if you see the critic reviews are low, but the audience score is high, then ignore the critic reviews.
Exactly.
I'm going to be honest. I've never put much stock in critic reviews for movies anyway. Some of my favorite movies of all time are literally splats on like Rotten Tomatoes. Like, who cares, man, dude? They told me, what is it? Talladega, or not? Was it Talladega Nights or something? I can't remember. Some movie I was really into, some comedy. They're like, that movie sucks. It's like a 12, and the audience score is like a 95. It's
Ricky
like,
Bobby?
yeah, Ricky Bobby. Like, dude, like they know, it.
That's a 71 on.
Yeah.
Oh, did it finally go
71,
up?
73.
It went up. Okay,
It's a
it
71, 73.
wasn't on day one. When we went to it day one, it
Yeah.
wasn't. It was a splat.
Yeah.
I think there's just a clear disconnect between critics nowadays before like how they used to do things. And I think a lot of it's driven from ratings. But if you go to any YouTuber who, in my opinion, have a lot more validity than a lot of the critics that are doing written reviews, most of the YouTubers I've watched, because I went through and I watched like Jeremy Johns, all the typical guys, and like everyone loved it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's a single person that like hated it. So maybe it's the disconnect with them just not understanding the movie, or like I don't know what it is, but Rotten Tomatoes sucks. Just don't read them.
It's true.
Dude, I don't read I've checked it every time I check Rotten Tomato. I'm just curious what they're saying, not because it affects whether I'm watching a movie or not.
Exactly. Like the way that they rated Ant-Man, like I thought the film was great. I thought the visually was stunning.
Yeah, Quantumanium's rated lower than Mario movie, guys.
Exactly. It's like, and I thought that film was great, and like people like,
I liked it too.
Yeah, I like to do like.
I think the end credit scene on like just Ant-Man alone, like there's so big brain.
And I think what happens is like sometimes the critics think they mean more than they really do. You'll get a movie like that obviously did really well at the box office and people enjoy, but they rated low. But then you'll also get a movie like a John Wick 4. They rate it really high when the audience goes really high, and they're like,
movie of the year.
We know good movies because the audience agreed with us on this one. I'm like, yeah, but you're just ignoring like the plethora of times the audience did not agree with you. So
watch YouTubers, guys.
Yeah, it's a staunch difference. So outside of the movie being good or bad, let's see here. Looking at my notes. Do we have any predictions on what it's going to do at the box office? Because right now
we're seeing
$1 billion.
Was the one prediction I saw.
I want to go for the billion. I'm going to go for the billion.
We're hitting the billion. Yeah, Mike.
I have hope. I'm going to get on Saturday because I'm going to help it go to the billion.
It could happen. How long it's going to be in the theaters?
Quantumania has done about $225 million, and is it going to do more than Ant-Man? I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah, I
watching
think that
IP.
as it like the movie stays in theaters for the summer months, like kids are gonna
Oh yeah, for
out
sure.
of school and continue watching it. And
I mean,
I
heck,
think
my
that it's
kid
gonna
has a
crush.
field trip next month at school to go to the movie.
So there you go.
I mean,
Like, I don't
there
know
is
what
something to
other
be
schools
said
are
for like
doing, but
how much of an icon Mario is nowadays, and like I feel like comparing it to Ant-Man is almost unfair to Ant-Man because
Yeah.
like
For sure,
Marvel
for sure.
is huge. Marvel is huge,
Oh yeah.
but like this is now like Ant-Man's third movie. A lot of people are starting to feel superhero fatigue a little bit. I'm not. I still
Yeah,
love the
Mhm.
Marvel movies,
I agree.
but a lot of people are, and also like a lot of people will watch like, oh, the first Ant-Man movie comes out, a new character is introduced, but they might not watch the second or third one.
Yeah.
And
Just
plus,
because
this new
the sort of
phase
like
of Marvel
newness.
hasn't really been doing well.
Another
There's
thing
that
is,
too.
and I can tell you why. It's
There's that
because
too.
at the beginning they were mad at DC because they were too dark, but and Marvel was light and jokey. But now they're saying that Marvel is way too many jokes, way like Thor, Love and Thunder, like a comedy.
oh, I love Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
That was a fun
love
So
it.
do
movie.
I.
Yeah,
That was
that's
a fun
complaint
movie.
out there. That's a complaint out there that
Yeah.
there was
I
too
do
many
love that
jokes too
movie.
fast.
It was more jokey than the other Thor movies. I'll give them that. But
Yeah.
also, there was a reason it's more jokey
Yeah.
if you paid attention to the whole arc of Thor. But
I just loved all the guns.
that
and
requires
roses.
you have a deeper. I'm sorry, critics. It requires you have a deeper understanding of the character. My
Yeah.
bad.
Oh,
My
Play the
bad. I
game
thought
first,
you guys knew. I thought you guys paid attention.
My
Understand the
deep
source
understanding
material.
is
yeah.
that I enjoyed the movie, and that's good enough in my
Yeah,
book.
right. I enjoyed
There
the
you
movie.
go.
So-
You had
Dude,
a
Thor:
good
Love and
time.
Thunder was my children's first ever Marvel movie they watched, and then it's one of their favorite movies. They'll play it on repeat like every week. So
Mhm, mhm.
hey, my kids love
But
it.
Mario's
I get to watch Marvel. I'm
huge.
good.
Yeah, right.
That was my point. Mario has such brand recognizability. Yeah, if that's a word. And it's like
Recognition.
Mario is almost as recognizable as like Mickey Mouse. Maybe
No,
more
no.
now. Even
No. It's,
know?
it's more than Mickey now. It's more than
more
Mickey.
than Mickey Mouse. I'm
Yeah.
happy to. I'll accept that. I'm happy to be wrong there.
Yeah.
So there is something to be said that like I don't think I've talked to a single child that doesn't know who Mario is. I have a Mario lanyard for my house keys. I've been at my
Yeah.
kid's school, and some random kids walked up and seen my Mario lanyard and been like, "That's Mario." You know, that's like that. Just it's just a ever present, well-known brand recognition. I am willing to bet that like pretty much every kid out there wants to see this movie, and which means they're bringing. And they're not. It's not just like us as adult men going to this movie. It's gonna be that kid wants to see that movie. So he's taking his parents with him too, you know, or they are. So it's the ticket sales are, if anything, going to be inflated because of that as well.
Yeah.
You got your fans, your Mario fans, your gamers, and you got kids bringing their whole families and everything.
Yep,
it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Yeah,
To
and they
sell
got people going more than once, like I am. You know.
So
yeah, that too.
I think so if this was pre-pandemic, I would say it's a bill easy. Every Illumination movie basically does that. Whether you guys like the Minions or not doesn't matter. They hit $1 billion every time. So I would be like, oh, this would easy, but nothing's really done super well since the pandemic, and we're kind of waiting for that one big movie that
Avatar.
Besides Avatar, but like that's
Top
that's
Gun Maverick.
That's a one-off situation. Like that was a 20-year in the making.
How about
movie.
Spider-Man?
That was a little bit different. But even Spider-Man did not perform as well. That was even down. So everything's pretty much been down.
Top Gun
besides
Maverick did
Avatar.
numbers.
Yeah, Maverick did. But again, what are we talking about? Sequels to really, really old popular movies that were also critic-wise rated some of the best movies of our generation. But that's the thing. Like they were living off of old movie hype, and people waited forever and ever and ever for the next one.
Yeah,
that doesn't really exist for like MCU. We get MCU movies all the time. We get MCU shows all the time. We get kids like kids shows and movies haven't been doing as well. It's just kind of a fact. There's like a couple exceptions, but nothing's really like consistently been hitting over and over. And you can maybe the quality of the movies isn't as good. Maybe that's to blame. But you know, I saw the movie. I saw the people in the theater's reaction, the kids talking about it, asking mom and dad to come back.
Yeah.
I think this might end up having that Frozen effect, that it's going to be in theaters for like 6 months at some places.
And whatever streaming service it goes to,
they're just going to keep going. Yeah, streaming service, whatever streaming service gets it. I know, there's what Universal uses, but Nintendo might not go that route because they'll ultimately get to say on which service it
They-
pops up
they-
on.
they-
Universal.
They've already signed a blood contract with Comcast, which is Universal.
Yeah.
Peacock.
A blood contract.
Yeah,
I guarantee you, any contracts, because obviously they have a contract. I guarantee you, any contract, Nintendo maintained all control.
I
They
say
would
like
never give up control of their IP.
I say like that because of course Comcast is the one behind Universal and Universal Studios and now Illumination also
Yeah.
they own Illumination now, so everything is all connected. You think
Sure,
Nintendo's not gonna turn their
Peacock it is.
yeah
Yep.
so
Yeah.
even if more than one streaming service gets it, Peacock is gonna be first.
Oh, for sure.
We'll see. We'll see. Because the way I look at it as Nintendo likes having hyper control of their IP, and this is Mario. Any contract they signed, they didn't give Universal exclusive anything outside of we're going to work with you as long as we want to work with you, and that's the way. I guess no Nintendo, they're not going to give up rights to their own stuff. That being said, it doesn't mean it won't be on Peacock. By the way, it could be a Peacock and Netflix, or it could be Peacock and wherever.
All right, so
I
this is
can
my
see it in Netflix.
this is my prediction. You know
I
how
would say Netflix because there's a couple other
Mhm.
related IPs
this
on there.
is my prediction. You know how you go to who has Peacock here? Does anybody have Peacock here?
I do.
You know how
I have it through him.
Yeah.
you know how WWE has their own section, right? WWE has their own section. You go in there, and it's just like the WWE network. It's
Yeah.
So I think
That might be changing.
Nintendo is going to have their own, right? What the heck?
Yeah, that UFC deal. Yeah, that might be changing entirely.
That's another thing that got me crazy. But I think Nintendo's going to have their own section too, and I think that
Sure.
not only the movies coming, but TV shows and everything.
Yeah, probably shows. Yeah.
Right there. Yeah.
So according to Polygon, they said that Illumination parent company Universal has a deal with Netflix that sees their
Yeah.
movies arrive on their streaming service after at least 4 months exclusive on Peacock.
Yeah,
So-
I was gonna say because a lot of Universal movies are on Netflix.
So
Yeah.
after what was the
Wow.
last one?
In Canada,
4
we don't
months.
have Peacocks, so it all comes to Netflix. So-
Yeah, it's a 4
Shout out
month
to the VPNs.
4 month exclusivity
VPNs
is what
exist.
they do with their own IPs. What
So
Universal does
4
with
months exclusive on Peacock,
Yeah.
and they go everywhere else.
Yeah,
Then Netflix most likely because
Netflix.
they've got a
yeah,
deal.
They have a deal with Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that movie on Netflix is huge. Like that's insane.
Yeah, like even if here's the thing. Here's what's gonna happen. It's gonna come to Peacock while it's still in theaters.
Mhm.
And then when it phases out in theaters, it'll be 4 months, and then they'll be like, Netflix.
They should
it's
just
the
charge
number one
20 bucks
movie
for it
on
on Peacock. I would buy it right now if it was 20 bucks on
Okay.
Peacock.
I gotta tell you something. I'm not no spoilers, but that movie has so many Easter eggs that I can't wait to get.
There's one in particular I want to talk about. I can't.
So
So
I
it
know-
happens
I know.
early too. I can't do it though.
I saw a particular one that will drive Nate crazy. I don't think he saw it because he's not going crazy yet. But I mean,
Because I can't talk about it.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not Game Explain giving away 48 Easter eggs on the day the movie comes out. It's like, let people see that for themselves, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, I put that in my watch later list for after I watch the movie, just to see.
Yeah.
Now I have FOMO.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, Andres Restart popped in the chat. He just got done with the movie and he's like, critics are wrong.
My man.
Yeah, man.
My man.
Yeah. So the last part, I guess, is just obviously without spoilers. What surprised us the most about the movie? I got one thing for sure.
I mean, about the Mario movie.
Yes. I mean, I'll go because I got something.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I was the one to put it in here, so obviously I had an idea. All of the voice acting was excellent. And I never thought I would say that after some of the previews and the Chris Pratt stuff and all that. Like, look, one, I guess I can say because it's not in the movie. The one line, the line where Chris Pratt says Mushroom Kingdom, here we come, and it's not in the movie.
No, it's not.
And maybe it's not in the movie because of the backlash of that line. I have no idea. They could have got cut out.
Is-
But
is
what I do
Linda,
know,
Linda
what I
Belcher
do
line.
know is, like, because like if we just focus on like Chris Pratt, like he, by the time you're like 10 minutes into the movie, you forget it's even Chris Pratt. He did a really damn good job.
Good
And
job.
ultimately, I think the casting they did ended up working out. The only one that was a little bit annoying, just a smidge to me, was Seth Rogen. I liked what he did with the character. They did the laugh the laugh was a little too often. The first couple of times, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cute. Like the fifth time, I'm like, okay, that's Seth. Let's rein that in a little bit. But honestly, the voice acting was excellent all throughout. Obviously, Jack Black was fantastic. Anna Joy Taylor was great. Literally, I mean, Keegan Michael Teal, he did awesome. Like it was on point. I don't even know who some of the voice actors were of the other characters because obviously they weren't the ones being going on the tour, but they did really great. What they did with Charles Martinet was really just it was epic. What they did with Charles Martinet was epic. If you know Charles Martinet, you will recognize it. There's two characters. You'll recognize it. They did such a good job. So to me, like, it wasn't all the references, it wasn't the fun story, it wasn't all the voice acting. How much I ended up like going into it expecting garbage and coming out of it going, you know what? I actually think they got it right.
Yeah.
So that's the most surprising part to me.
I agree.
At the end of the movie, I'm like, damn, I was totally wrong on this voice cast.
Yeah.
And they did it with A-list as well.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. That hardly ever works out, to be completely honest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like whenever I'm watching the trailers and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know of anybody else who I'd like pick to be Bowser. Like maybe Mario, but then just have like Charles do it. But like,
I
don't know who else could do it better. Like straight up.
And not with the personality they gave Bowser in this one.
Jack,
I'm
excited for just the Jack Black part.
Bowser out of the park, man. It was hilarious.
Peaches. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
The song is awesome too, dude. I'm gonna play that song forever. But anyway, I think my surprise was how they handled the Chris Pratt voice, like how they handled the difference between the exaggerated Italian accent and the Brooklyn accent that
you get a bit into spoilers here, buddy.
No, I mean it's not really.
This was not shown in any of the previews. What you're talking about?
They handled it well.
They did handle it. They did handle it well, but how do they know there was something to be handled?
Well, they handled it well.
I'm just sitting there like I know what you're referencing, and it's awesome. But I'm like they did this really cool thing in the movie.
Yeah,
it was great.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that for people out there, you can read easily because they handled it well. You'll like the way that they did it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All I know is you guys are making me real excited to watch this Friday. I'm super hyped now.
It is. I mean, I'll just restart the chat who was critical of the whole Chris Pratt thing. And he's like, dude, his voice is perfect. That's what's crazy about it to me. That's what's so shocking.
Yeah.
This shouldn't work.
Right.
And it did.
I remember the controversy when that news came out. It was going to be Chris Pratt. Everyone was like, oh my God, are you serious? But
yeah. And now it's like, that's it. To me, in the cinematic universe, that's the voice of Mario. No offense, Charles Martinet. This is the voice. Let's get it going for another 10 movies or whatever.
Yeah, Chris Pratt got range, is what we're saying.
Yeah,
he does.
Who knew Chris Pratt can act a little?
He's got range. He's funny. He can be serious.
Dude, I never doubted the guy. I'm a very big fan of him. So I've been following.
I've always liked him in his normal movies, but like in his normal movies, he just plays Chris Pratt. And I'm like, you're really good. You're like a good typecast role. I like it. But this was different for him, and dude, he nailed it. They all did. It was really, really good. Yeah. And I kind of feel for Keegan-Michael Thiel, what his voice was like after some of those sessions.
Oh man,
that surprised me. Is that I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen interviews where I thought they like artificially modulated his voice to make it higher. And I see interviews where he just did the voice, and I'm like, dude, how that's range? That's nuts.
Yeah, dude,
that is
he's done a lot of crazy voices over the years, and like
that's talent.
Yeah, apparently he worked with like a voice artist for like 6 months to nail this voice down, and he's like, it really does strain my voice, but it's the perfect voice, so I wasn't gonna go away from it. And I'm like,
it's shocking. It's shockingly good. That's great. I can't wait to watch this movie, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's great now. Maybe there'll be a time, guys, where we'll go into a bit of a spoiler chat. Maybe we'll give the movie a month or two to salivate out there, and then we can kind of reminisce on everything. Maybe around the time that we're starting to get it released on streaming services and DVD. Maybe that's the time to go into, because by then, look, if you're watching a show that says we're talking about the Mario movie,
right,
and you don't expect spoilers months later, then I mean, that's kind of on you at this point. You've had a long time.
Shout out to Graham Kirkhope.
Yes. Yeah, shout out to Grant.
Shout out Grant.
All right, now we get into our second and last topic of the show. We don't really have 3 topics. We were just going with 2 because every time we get to Zelda, it's Zelda.
It just goes.
This is gonna spiral.
It's Zelda. But I guess before we go that, Taker610 with another super chat pops in, wants to remind us for a couple bucks. So many people are saying Bowser is a simp. Look, I can't tell you what happens.
Not
That
saying
sounds
a
like a
word.
spoiler.
tell you what
That sounds
happened.
like a spoiler, and that's bad.
Saying a word.
What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
Not saying a word.
It-
That's
it-
probably a good
it-
thing,
I don't
Mike.
even. I don't even
Urban
want to
Dictionary,
define
my
the word
friend.
for you. Yeah, I don't
Just
want
Urban
to define
Dictionary.
it.
Just don't do it on
Can't talk
Twitch.
Urban Dictionary.
Damn. What is what?
Can't talk about it.
Just
is-
don't do it on Twitch.
Yeah, let's get the
Right?
Urban Dictionary of simp. Can we hear this?
Oh,
Can
good
we
God.
hear this
But
quick?
do not read it out loud. And
Yeah.
do not say anything about it, Mike. You're good.
Just
That's true.
Yeah, I know. Dang it, Mike! I was trying not to spoil things, Mike.
I mean, in the games, he kind of is too. Let's be
Dude,
honest.
Bowser-
So-
In the most recent game, he definitely is.
Listen,
but-
Bowser is
yeah,
one of
so-
the best characters in the movie. One of the best. You'll laugh a lot. That's all I can say.
the whole plot of Mario Odyssey is that he wants to marry Peach so bad that he will resort to all kinds of villainy. So I mean, this is not a surprise. This is on brand for Bowser.
Yeah.
Let's be honest with ourselves.
And I'm gonna leave it at that.
So
So Zelda.
Zelda.
We can't get off the
Yeah.
Mario. Take
Wait,
your
real quick,
take
real
your
quick.
drag us back in with the simp.
There's a wrong.
Did you guys watch the cast play
he's
Mario
over there
Kart?
simping for the Mario movie
Yeah,
right
right.
now.
Did you
I
guys
bet
watch the
he's
cast play
seen
Mario
it.
Kart?
What?
Oh, I did. Yeah.
You watched the cast play Mario Kart? I'm so
Yeah,
happy
yeah.
that Jablinski won that. That was so good.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched that video, I'm like, yeah, it's of course Jack Black is gonna win that game.
Of course, he's probably the only one that actually plays it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I love
No,
Jack
you
Black.
watch it, you could tell he knew what he was doing. The other one's like, oh yeah, we played before, but it's been a long time. Now he like actively, I'm still playing this. Like, don't worry about it.
Mhm.
He's like, I got my Switch right here. Like,
All
And
right,
Jack
so
Black is
Tears
like
of-
legit a gamer.
Tears of the
so-
Kingdom. Tears
Zelda,
of the Kingdom.
yes.
Tears
Zelda.
of the Kingdom.
Zelda.
Wait.
Zelda
we
movie.
can't get off Mario.
You're so
It's
good,
okay.
man.
This is the most we've talked about Mario.
That's
I think.
actually impressive. That
I
we-
would say this is the most we've talked about Mario. I think in podcast history because we haven't had a new.
right.
We haven't had a new Mario game.
But
Mario
like-
Odyssey 2, please.
Like
It feels
since
that way.
2017 hasn't existed in the history of the last 2 seasons of this podcast either. So it's kind of like, oh, when it brings up, it's usually a sports game, and we're like, yeah, that was disappointing. Moving on.
No, Mario Strikers existed.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
and like, look, we talk about the Mario Kart 8 DLC, but even that we don't really stick on that much. But look, when Mario's great, we're gonna talk, even if we can't really talk exactly what we would like to talk about. But you know what?
Yeah.
Another time.
I can't
So
talk about it, dude.
Zelda. All right. First off, a couple of neat facts. Next week's episode is exactly 1 month from when the game comes out.
holy cow.
April. We have an episode on April 12th. That is 1 month out. So we're a month and a week out.
Can you imagine?
from the-
Can
from
you
the game.
imagine if the direct happens that day?
It actually reminds me, you haven't pre-ordered yet.
No, I did. I just got to take the day off because I can.
I gotta come over here. I gotta set up for a dual stream. I could do it. I could do 2. I can have 2 people play a game at the same time.
Oh snap! Rare dual stream.
I'm just saying.
That's
I can do it.
It's a very.
I got
very
the double.
decent
I got the.
possibility.
I got the setup. I just
no,
gotta
he
add. I
can't
got a
Oh,
screen.
because
That's
he's
speedrun
all.
not a
race.
real gamer. He can't stream.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
right.
not a
Yeah.
real. He
Right,
doesn't know what
true.
game streaming
That's
is.
right. I forgot. I can't. I can't.
Anyways, so that's just a fun little fact is that our podcast just happens to line up with the exact 1 month out. So we're a little over a week from when they had the gameplay showcase last week Tuesday, and a lot's I guess maybe happened since then. More so in terms of hey, we've watched it now. Like I don't know. Let me tell you, I put more time into this than the Mario movie. So I've watched this 10 minutes, 11 minutes or so on repeat. Many times, pausing frame by frame, literally hitting the arrow keys. Just, yeah, cool. Oh, see that? That might be a video idea. So what are we thinking, man? Like this is the next big Zelda game. Haven't had one since
Crazy.
2017.
Surreal.
Like, what are we doing? We finally have gameplay now. Are they doing enough?
Look,
Did
I've
they
been
ruin
keeping my
Zelda?
expectations low, but after this 10 minutes, my expectations are now high. I can't contain it anymore. You know, I mean, Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite games of all time, and I've been excited for a sequel for a while, but I've just been trying to, keep my emotions level. And we
Same.
saw a couple trailers, and, I got a little excited, but after this little bit of gameplay we saw, it just gave me a glimpse into, okay, like there are going to be some major changes that I'm going to love. And, it's going to be the game I'm playing for the next 3 years. You know what I mean? My hype levels just went through the roof. And that's all they had to do was show that 10 minutes of gameplay. Because I was in the camp that was a little annoyed that we were so close to release date and they hadn't really showed much. And that's all they had to do. That's all they had to do was show that clip. You know, they didn't show any of the story. They didn't show any like major portions of the map outside of the new Sky Islands. They didn't really show much. They just showed some little details and some of the new mechanics. That's all I got to see. I'm locked in. I'm hyped. This is going to be a great game.
No, I remember I started playing Breath of the Wild day one after that, and I was just upset that I was holding a stick and I couldn't fuse it with anything. I really
Dude, that's happening right now while I'm playing. My weapon's about to break. Let me fuse. Oh, wrong game.
Yeah, I'm like, man, I wish I could fuse this stick with a pork chop, whatever. But you know,
think of how fluid it's going to feel when the game does come out.
Meat. Come on,
yeah,
the raw prime meat. Sorry, other way. I don't know. I guess it can work either way. Depends on who you are.
Meat arrows. That's all I'm gonna say. We want to know what we want to make and use meat arrows. And
well, the one question that I have and that wasn't quite answered with the trailers is they added that leaf to the arrow, right? And then they never fired that arrow, and then they turned it into a ice arrow.
Yeah,
but I don't know if he ever got that leaf back.
No, he did. It was just like
I think he did.
I just stayed in his inventory.
Did it? I did not. I didn't think it.
Yeah,
I think there was two of them in his inventory, wasn't there?
Yeah, but I thought I only saw one still stay in there.
I have no idea. I didn't pay close enough attention to that, but
because that would suck if it didn't.
Not gonna lie.
I have the clip on my.
Yeah, pull it up. I'm pretty sure.
I'll tell you my favorite part of that presentation was when Ayanuma was like, "Oh yeah, we don't have a lot of time today to show you a lot of things, but anyway, let's shoot some more birds."
Yeah.
Like, everybody wants to see just shooting the birds.
It's the most Aonuma thing.
It really is.
My aim isn't as good as I used to be. I'm like, well,
but then he fires the second shot at the bird, and he almost
he only had
on
one.
the backside. He almost hit it on the downslope.
I know when he fired that, I was like, my aim's not what it used to be. I missed, and I'm like, that might actually
hit. I'm looking at it. I'm like, that actually might hit.
Also, he does get the leaf back.
Okay,
he does.
He just like cycled in between the stuff.
I'm pretty sure doing rehearsal, he hit a lot of birds on his first shot.
He's like, look,
they have to edit out all the bird shit.
It's not what it used to be. He couldn't miss.
Yeah. Actually, was an anti-aim bot.
So it was funny. When I was doing my Breath of the Wild stream, I was telling people, like, man, I suck at this game. I haven't played it in a long time. Please forgive me for having really crappy gameplay. And all of a sudden, I just have like 5 perfect headshot bows in a row. And they're like, oh, yeah, it looks like you really suck at this game. I'm like, look, some things are like riding a bike. Okay. What do you. Sorry, I thought I was going to be worse. I'm still pretty bad. Just wait. I'm about to fight Thunderblight. I'm going to get my ass kicked, so don't worry about it. I'm about to be humbled in a hurry.
Good.
So,
no, I'm just kidding.
Just kidding. Dude, I still get my ass kicked on normal with that. I helped Yulia beat him. Yulia did beat Thunderblight though the second time on her own. So I'm
there you go.
She actually
GG.
She refused. She was like, can you just help me beat him? And I'm like, I guess. And she goes, no. I must do it. You did it last night. I'm like, okay.
Well, now you're fighting him in master mode now, so
that
little health bar is gonna go.
Yeah,
you guys gonna trail the sword in master mode?
Look, I barely take it out in normal, so I
feel like I had an easier time with Ganon than Thunderblight. I don't know why. I just had
because Ganon's easy.
With that motherfucker.
And Thunderblight's like Thunderblight and
just get Hylian Shield
like the Lionel. Like they're harder than Ganon. It's whatever. But yeah, look, there's a lot of things about the gameplay that were pretty exciting. Obviously, we got to see 4 different abilities. I know some people kind of feel like 2 of the abilities are the same, but technically they're different. Ultra Hand and Fuse are 2 different abilities, even though you could argue they have similar assets. One fuses weapons, one fuses materials. What's interesting, of course, and this is something I haven't seen talked about a lot, and I might make a video on it. When you see him go to fuse the pitchfork with the long stick, it shows that you can also fuse the pitchfork with the shield.
Yes.
Which makes you feel like, okay, then we can just fuse anything with either or. Like we saw him fuse the rock later with the shield. So I'm sitting here like, what the hell is the point of fusing random? Like, is it just going to stick out from the shield and I can now shield bash with a pike? Or does it like go up and down and it serves no purpose except when I run and I hit a tree, it knocks me over? Because I hit the tree branch with it.
Everything will fuse. Everything will fuse in the game.
Yeah, but it fuses with the shield. What are we doing? This game just doesn't care. What? How does it?
I think that's the point. That's the whole point.
Yeah, whatever you want. That's the point.
Now every time I watch, I'm like, fuse it with the shield. Fuse it with the shield. I want to see what happens.
Right?
You can dual wield pitchforks. You got one in one hand and one on your shield.
Hey,
Oh, that'd be wild.
There you go.
Right?
That's how they added dual wielding.
Listen, how about you use the shield with your clothes? That way you get hit. Ding, ding, ding.
Right?
Metal.
You got
And people talk
Mandalorian
like,
armor with
what
Hylian
if you could-
shields all
What if
around
you
his
could
person.
ultra hand attach a fan to the shield? And I sat there and I'm like, that sounds really cool while you're like on the glider and it gives you extra speed boost. But like, do we know how fans work? I don't. Attaching it to the shield would actually make it not function.
You can like push people away. Push
They
enemies
just fuse
back.
a battery to it as well.
Yeah, I know, but like how wind is created,
Yeah,
it's cut
gotta
off.
go through it.
It's got to go through.
The
The
game.
shield would cut it off.
Yeah.
I know I'm overthinking this, but
Yeah.
it is a physics
I mean,
engine,
yeah.
and physics tell me that fan will not work.
Well, I can't wait
Therefore, on the
to
other
see
side
all
of the-
the
It's a video
zany
game, right?
videos
You gotta
that come
suspend
out.
belief.
No, it leaves just a tiny gap.
Just
in there,
enough.
just enough to pull air through
Oh, so it's
and
like
blast people away.
no. So what it is so it's like a crappy PC case that has really bad airflow and doesn't really work that well. So it'll just kind of sputter, and Link will just be like, "You take this thing
Well,
out."
I
The
can't wait
push-pull
to see all
configuration.
the weird videos that come out on YouTube and TikTok and wherever of all the stupid things people fuse together and create with the
Oh, yeah.
physics engine and the new abilities.
It's
I mean,
gonna
it's
be
going to
great.
be so much great, stupid content for
Oh,
years
yeah.
to
And
come.
I know.
Imagine if
Just
there's
like
a
the way
fuse-
Breath of the Wild was. It's going to be even better with this game.
Imagine if there's a Fuse Plus, and now you can fuse like 6
Oh,
weapons
my
together.
That's true. I mean,
Mm.
could be.
Mhm.
Oh, that would be like, what would I even do if I fuse that many to my shield? What do I do? Dude, I want to be
Fuse
able to
things without
fuse
the
a
green
shield
goo.
to a shield to a shield to a shield. I want like the triple stack.
Yeah. 3 pitchforks together,
So-
and then you can just turn and.
This
whack
is one thing
things
they
with
didn't
it.
show. We seen in a trailer that there is shield surfing, right? He's grinding on the rails doing shield surfing.
Mhm.
Is this just not going to work if we fuse? Like, is he going to wipe out? Or how's
Or it'll
that
give
gonna
us more durability if we put a rock on it and then shield surf. I don't know.
Maybe.
happen? I don't know. Like a rock isn't that smooth. I kind of feel like surfing wise, you're just like dunk 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 dunk. Maybe we're smooth.
It
enough,
might
the rock's
depend
not
on
as
what
good.
you attach to the shield and what the
You
Yeah.
think
geometry
they went
is
that
like.
far?
You know?
That they
You
actually
just
went about with what
fuse
you
a
attached?
live bokoblin
Yeah.
to the bottom of your shield and
Well,
shoot
people were
it
saying-
on
people were
him
saying
and
Because I
how-
tell him
mean,
to
yes,
let
there
go.
you go.
People were also saying, what if you could take like the goat butter and put it on the shield and go faster?
Well, see, in Breath of the Wild shield surfing, that the smoothness or the type of shield you have already impacts how well you'll
Yes, it
shield
does,
surf. So,
yeah.
like, this is already something that exists that they can just build upon. Basically, like, just some
Well,
shields already are better for that or better suited.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be
yeah.
surprising if they went so far as to have like individual fuses can do different things.
Listen, the big question is, can you fuse a horse with your trousers?
What?
Mike's asking the real
Wait, does
question,
this just come
and
from
no one else is brave enough to
This is
ask.
the last person
You don't
I would
fall off your
expect to bring up a
horse,
horse fusing with Link. And
Horse
in the trouser area
Woo!
specifically.
with the trousers. That way, Link can just wear the trousers and he's immediately on the horse. And then you just kind of,
That's not where my
How do
mind.
So whenever you
use a
fall,
line
then
on
you're
Yeah.
not going to fall off the
You talk about
horse.
fusing
Yeah.
trousers with horses.
Woo!
We have a totally different conversation.
we
here.
bring up the old Nintendo Prime
horse.
theme song.
Oh, the old intro theme song to all my live streams that I don't play anymore because I'm trying not to scare off my new
Yeah,
audience.
right.
Look, there's just so much happening in so they honestly, if we think about it in the grand scheme, we barely saw any gameplay. We saw like nothing. We just saw like early game. Here's like 4 abilities that we did nothing fun with. Have a good day. And all of us are just imagining the fun things we could do,
Right.
not the fun things that he actually showed off. Would have been cool if he would have showed off some fun things. But like, there's so much in there. Like the one time when he looks off in the distance and one of the dragons is flying. One, the dragon looks really far away, but also looks massive.
Mhm.
It looks even bigger
Mhm.
than the ones we had in Breath of the Wild. It looks massive. What is up with that? Why is there a dragon
And
that
in
large?
Aonuma fashion, he looks right at it and then is just like moving on and just
Yeah.
just keeps going.
Yep.
I see this massive dragon that's miles off, but also takes up like a quarter of your view of the sky. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Nah, it's nothing.
Not
Don't
a
worry.
big deal. This just exists. Don't worry about it. Do we get to ride that thing? I have no idea. So like there's that. There's a lot of unanswered questions too that they still could obviously answer here in the upcoming weeks. Again, they have. I didn't figure we were going to get anything new this week because of the Mario movie, but next week they could start ramping up some more new stuff, new screenshots. trailers. There's gonna be
Yeah, I
previews
wouldn't be
at some
surprised
point.
if we got like a drip feed of tweets.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna get some drip feeds coming up. I know, Mike, are you still on that April 12th direct train, or what's up with that?
I'm still on it. I'm still on it until
Okay.
until it doesn't happen.
Until it doesn't
know.
happen. Hey, I'll tell you what. If a
rumor.
direct happens on the 12th, that's really good for our podcast.
Yes, it is.
It's a rumor that I want to believe. It's not that I believe it 100%. It's a rumor that I want to believe. You know?
Hopium.
Yeah,
He's full of
I
hopium.
personally don't think we're gonna get anything Zelda until like a launch trailer, like the final launch trailer, and then that's just GG.
Well, we for sure will get something because there'll be previews from the media at some
Correct,
point.
yeah.
So like, and they'll unveil stuff that Nintendo didn't talk about because they'll be interested in totally different things in whatever demo they get to play. And then obviously their reviews. Hopefully the reviews come out a few days before. Sometimes they come out the day before. Sometimes the day of. No idea what Nintendo's going to do with that. So we at least have some stuff coming up that way. And who knows? Maybe we find out that hit May and IGN has an IGN first, and then they got Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh no.
No. Here's the difference, though. This is a game people want to play.
Sorry about tears all over.
I don't think they could do anything to mess it up. If Aonuma can give us 10 minutes of that, we're like, oh, this looks great. I don't think IGN can mess it up unless the game sucks. Who's getting a phone call? Is that me?
Yeah, that's me. Sorry. There you go.
I was like,
Mike, answer it.
I haven't heard this ring in a while.
I'm trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
Right? They're trying to reach you about your horse's extended warranty.
We have to answer this
Yes.
question. This is there's it's kind of a multifaceted thing. First, let's start with this. Will there be dungeons in this game?
Yes.
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 You're pretty definitive. Why are you
I
I'm
feel
the-
like you
I'm
put
the
a video
dungeon
out
man.
on this today.
Technically, we had dungeons in Breath of the Wild. They just weren't very good. So,
Just look at the first teaser.
there's no argument. Everybody,
No.
Okay.
I'm not taking that.
You
Just look at
thought
the
Divine Beasts
first
were good?
teaser that announced the sequel. Like they're underground. Like there's
There's that, and also Nintendo and the Zelda team have been very open about how they work in fan feedback from previous Zelda titles into the current game they're working on. Like this is something that's like well documented. Like, oh, Wind Waker's too cartoony, Twilight Princess. Oh, Skyward Sword's too linear, Breath of the Wild. The one of the biggest things that Breath of the Wild's feedback was we want dungeons. People want these dungeons.
Are you sure that was the biggest feedback? I thought
Durability as
weapon
well.
durability was the biggest.
Yeah,
Weapon
and we saw they
durability.
changed that too.
but
And
it's still
overall
there.
population
They did not
as
get
well.
rid of weapon durability though. It's still a thing.
They didn't get rid of it,
but they
No, of
improved
course
it.
not, but they improved it.
Yeah, they improved it. Yeah,
But it's still there.
They could have
People
just
are still gonna
left
complain.
it as is, and the game would probably still be amazing. But they still
Yeah,
took the feedback.
It's a very Nintendo thing to do. Is we're not going to take out weapon durability, but we're going to change it to make it more interesting. A very
Yeah,
Nintendo-esque
exactly.
tactic.
agreed. Yeah,
Exactly.
they took that twig that was about to break and fused it with the rock, dude. The rock.
There you go.
The
Yeah.
Rock Johnson.
The Rock.
But- Another piece. Well, Nate, you talked about it in a video today, but it depends on what we're allowed to talk about on this podcast.
We
or what
can talk
were
a
keeping.
little bit about the art book. It's okay. Just don't go into
Okay, well,
everything.
there's things in there that it's not exactly confirmed, but it pretty heavily implies to me dungeons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
dungeon
there's a
with
few
nothing.
art pieces in there that like the rooms and some of the puzzles, but also like we've seen some of that with shrines in the past. So I'm not like I can't 100% say that like oh that is for sure a dungeon.
I was.
I think we're gonna get the best of both
shrines.
worlds. I think we're gonna have the. I think for this game, and you guys can debate or know your thoughts, but I think for the shrines in this game, they're just gonna be sky shrines.
Yep.
So the top of the world is primarily just gonna be skyline shrines,
Mhm.
and then everything down below is just
Yes.
dungeons.
And I think the same
And-
thing with underwater exploration. It's not gonna be that much. It's gonna be like a shrine that you have to go in there and this water stuff, but not like they were gonna spend so much time on the water.
On the contrary, they might. I can't see them implementing a mechanic as like robust as like underwater swimming if they weren't going to put it to good use. Basically, like
Yep.
if they were going to only use it for one thing, like one shrine or something, I don't think they would even bother putting it in.
Agreed.
But if it's something as like, okay, now swimming underwater is this big thing that takes a lot of technical programming and stuff, and sure they've done it in other games, and they could probably just rework it into this. But if they weren't going to use it, like their design philosophy for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom seems to be everything that we're going to put in this game has vast utility, has use across everywhere you go. So if swimming is in it, it's not going to be just for one thing. It's going to be
I feel like
all
if
over
it
But
the
look
was
at the ascend
swimming and
feature. The ascend feature
underwater
is animation.
exploration, it would be they would have to tie it into the Zoras, right? You would have to have some
Yeah.
sort of Zora's
Zora
domain
Tunic or
quest.
Oh yeah,
with
it'll be
the- with
Zora's domain. You'll
underwater
just go underwater.
exploration. Yeah.
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 But actually, Wes brings up the ascend ability. They
Yep.
built in, so on this, they build in
That's
a whole
swimming.
mechanic that revolves around ceilings needing to be a thing in a huge open world game. If you have a central mechanic that requires a ceiling, it means you need areas with ceilings, like dungeons.
Bing bong.
Or
A lot
caves.
of ceilings there.
Right.
Mhm.
I will say this, like one thing about the ascend ability, and I didn't bring this up in my video, kind of an oversight was the entire ability, like when he's going through the thicker portion, it's a swimming animation.
Yeah, it's swimming.
It is.
Like it's straight up a swimming animation,
It
which makes
is.
me feel like maybe the place we use ascend the most is actually underwater. And we just don't know
Now,
because we haven't
Andre's
been there yet.
Restart made a video about swimming.
Yes, he
So
did,
shout out
yep.
to him. So I'm just gonna rip him off here in this.
Go for it.
but
Sure, he
in
won't
that
mind.
gameplay
You're here in
segment-
spirit.
He won't. I shout out him. I credit to him. Credit to Andres. But the in the gameplay, when you dive, or when Aonuma dives off the Skyland or gets knocked off and then goes into skydive, he lands in the water. When he's like falling, the ascend ability, the HUD element for it is grayed out. Like you can't use it. When he hits the water and goes into the water, it pops up again saying that he can use it. As soon as he hits the surface of the water and he's just floating, it grays out again that you can't use it, which means you have to be able to use it under the water. You have to be able to ascend to the surface of the water. It's definitely got some underwater use.
So my question there is, why did
100%.
he just continue to go down, like sink down, and then
I think it's too
troll.
shallow. And the river.
He's a troll.
Maybe he's a troll. That's it.
He's a troll.
He's a troll.
Now, another
I
question
think
I
a
want to
lot
talk
of it's
about
just
is
the river's too shallow.
This is the guy doing this gameplay demo that picked up an item called Zonai Charge, knowing what it would do to the Zelda theorist
I
community,
also
and
think-
he literally said, "Moving on," and
Yeah.
and just kept going.
I
He's a
also think
troll.
like when he goes underwater, gotta remember we're early game. There's probably
Very
something we need to go underwater.
Ascend Plus.
That too.
Like we need iron boots.
Iron boots.
Something. There's something we need to go underwater that he doesn't have yet.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kind of the way that I view
Gears.
things.
I feel like this ascend ability is going to be like hitting walls in Dark Souls, just looking for a fake wall. Everyone's just going to be trying to ascend through every ceiling to find some sort of secret item, chest, hidden room, every ceiling for years.
Yes. It's
That's
going to be like
true.
Zelda 1 again on the NES, bombing every wall and burning every
Yeah.
bush in hopes to
Yep.
find a secret. And I'm here for it. I'm so here
And
for it.
Tager 610 wants to remind us that fan plus horse equals horsepower. Just
Yes.
Heck
Fair
Use
yeah.
a fan
Fair
to the
enough.
horse.
Hey now, he could be onto something.
dude,
It's
can
a win.
I'm gonna make a flying horse. I'm making my own. My own Pegasus. Get out of here.
I just want to know how to get those big
Do it.
batteries.
or two
Put
fans.
a stick on its head so it's a unicorn.
So okay, so maybe there'll be some sort of dungeons. We'll see. We
Yes.
don't
Underwater dungeons as
obviously
well?
know for sure.
be
I mean,
awesome.
probably. Like there's one place that looks like it's obvious
Water
dungeon is
temple.
Death Mountain, right? There's all this crazy malice stuff happening. There. So you're like, oh, well, we probably got to go there and do a dungeon to get rid of the malice, right? That's what you think in old Zelda games. But this also brings up this notion because there's been a few people. I guess they've sort of talked about this a bit over the years since Breath of the Wild, but Tears of the Kingdom has sort of brought this back full circle after the gameplay came out. Is there's a lot of when I say a lot, guys, it's still a minority, but it's enough that you have probably heard it somewhere at some point. Some people feel like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom have sort of killed what traditional Zelda is. Now, I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that we just haven't had a brand new Zelda game in so long. Like if we had had a brand new top-down Zelda game between then and now, people might not say this because it probably would have been more traditional. But obviously, Breath of the Wild marked a massive departure from the way Zelda has been since A Link to the Past. Like A Link to the Past set a formula, and that's the way Zelda literally was all the way through Skyward Sword. There were some differences here, some new features, but the basic formula of how a Zelda game works was set up with A Link to the Past. And then Breath of the Wild came out and said, you know what? What formula? Let's throw it all out and do our own thing. Dungeons? Oh, that was the central? Yeah, no. I mean, we got Shrine, sure, that's cool. We're not going like 9 different dungeons and making it just a dungeon to dungeon to dungeon that takes several hours to get through stuff. No. You spend a few minutes in shrines. You spend maybe an hour tops inside a divine beast. All the big bosses, they're all basically going to look the same. We don't have aesthetic differences, but we're going to give you exploration. We're going to give you openness. We're going to give you a story through memories. We're going to do this and that and exploration. So it was very, very different. And obviously Tears of the Kingdom is following in the footsteps of Breath of the Wild, which isn't a surprise. It is a direct sequel. And obviously Breath of the Wild sold 30 million copies. They're not just going to ignore.
Yep.
It sold a lot. And I do think in some regards, like A Link to the Past back in the day, this might have set the new standard for what Zelda's going to be for a while, because Nintendo likes money. They're not just going to abandon stuff that makes them money. I'm not saying the next game is going to be like a third game, like a trilogy. Could be, but whatever it is probably still going to be open world, probably still going to be non-linear, et cetera, et cetera. Like they're going to follow some of the footsteps set up here. So what do you guys feel about that sentiment that these games kind of kill traditional Zelda, and there's like a segment of Zelda fans that are just kind of upset that they don't feel like they're going to get their Zeldas anymore?
I have a hard time believing that Nintendo at some point in the near future isn't going to return to a somewhat traditional Zelda, even if it is sort of like a handheld style, like Link's Awakening remake style. But an original game like A Link Between Worlds. I think we're due for one of those. I think Nintendo knows that. I think it's going to happen. I think the focus right now, obviously, is on Tears of the Kingdom. As to where they go for a third game, I really have a hard time believing that they're going to create another game that's as open as Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. They could, but I feel like that they're going to try and do some sort of weird hybrid style between the two, where it's not as open, but it's not super linear. I feel like they're going to try again and reinvent the wheel and keep the innovation going. I could be wrong, but
they didn't reinvent the wheel from A Link to the Past until Breath of the Wild. That was a long,
right. But I think there's enough of a vocal movement from Zelda fans that feel like they're being left out. I would say being left out as like traditional Zelda fans of the Link to the Past style games. I think there's enough people that enjoy those styles of games, me included, as someone who enjoys both, that they're going to have to put something out to satiate the desires of those fans eventually, even if it's obviously we have the Switch now, so it's not going to really be a handheld Zelda game, but you know what I mean, something in that style of like a Spirit Tracks or Link's Awakening or something.
I will say
like
this.
that.
I think Rezo's working on one.
I think so too.
Pretty confident that we're going to get one.
Yeah.
But the main Zelda team might just be working on these style of games for a while.
Yeah. You could be right.
I think that what we're seeing with Tears of the Kingdom is a more, true like return to form for the Legend of Zelda series. The first one was a lot of like letting the world building do the talking. This one is gonna, be the more traditional Zelda story. Obviously, it's Tears of the Kingdom, so it's gonna have something to do with like the Kingdom of Hyrule. Whereas like Hyrule in Breath of the Wild was more of like, this is the open world, this is the world we have, explore it, have fun, do whatever you want to do. This one's gonna be like, hey, here's all this new content in the form of traditional dungeons, but also, you're still gonna have the ability to do whatever you want to do.
Explore.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think we're seeing a sort of marriage of ideas where they're going to hybridize these elements, which is why I'm so on this dungeon train. I mean, obviously,
what happens if they don't?
Good point.
What happens if they don't? Then I'll eat my words, and that's fine. I've been wrong about things. I'm willing to be wrong about things, but
I'm wrong every day.
There's like when A Link Between Worlds came out, the things people praised about it was like basically what worked in Breath of the Wild, and people, nobody's saying it's not a traditional Zelda game, right? Like it basically it is, right? I think there is. I think that was in some ways a test run to see how those could work and still be so distinctly Zelda. So I have no doubt that they're gonna just be. They've laid the groundwork with Breath of the Wild. They have the foundation now. They can now bring back these elements that are so beloved and work them in. And I think it's going to be, I think as Breath of the Wild immediately became one of my favorite games ever when it came out, despite being a lifelong Zelda fan. And I think that this is just going to blow all of that out of the water and set a new standard, basically. So
Agreed.
even though
Totally
people are
agree.
saying right now it's like incremental, I think they're underestimating just what's in store for us. So
6 years,
Yeah,
dude. What
man.
have they been doing for 6 years? Come on now.
Right.
That's exactly
I
it.
have
It's like,
faith.
Dude,
exactly. They haven't been doing nothing for 6 years, and people have said like, oh, well, you do really think they started development as soon as Breath of the Wild released? I'm like, what do you think? They took 3 years of vacation time? It's their job. They're game developers. Yes, of
Yeah.
course they
Yeah.
started developing.
Maybe
this.
Fuse took 3 years, but
we've heard from the past. They said we're always working on what's next. I'm like, yeah, because
Always.
Yeah.
Nintendo doesn't do. I think this is maybe what confuses people. Is a lot of companies will do temporary contract employees for all their stuff. That's not what Nintendo Japan does. They're full timers. Like, they're just okay. We're done with this. What are we doing tomorrow? The next thing. Like they don't really ever stop because I'm not saying that they don't ever feel overworked. I have no idea. The work culture in Japan also is vastly different. There's a high respect for your job and working. So like when we hear things about, oh, Sakurai's putting in all this time, probably everybody is, because that's just the culture in Japan. So around here we'd be like, oh, they're being worked as slaves, and they're like, no, this is just the expectation there.
even if we look at like the physics engine that they built with Breath of the Wild, like the amount of ideas that I personally had whenever that happened, and you could see it in the player base as well, like the amount of crazy flying machines that people made.
Yeah,
like they took those possibilities and they're just like, okay, let's turn it up on its head, let's bring things back to normal, a little bit with the traditional dungeons, and then let's go buck wild, let's go crazy, and that's what they did.
You know what? I think, and this is coming from let's say I'm still calling myself a newcomer point of view, right? Newcomer point of view.
Yeah, a newer Zelda fan, a Breath of the Wild made Zelda.
Because I did beat Zelda 1. I did beat Link's Awakening. You know, I played half of Ocarina of Time. Yeah, Ocarina of Time, and then I started playing.
Is it because I spoiled it for you? Sorry.
Yeah, I stopped playing one of those. Yeah, but I feel like Nintendo, like Nate said, money. You know, they earned my purchase with Breath of the Wild. You know, and I think because Zelda is the most. I mean, Breath of the Wild is the best selling Zelda game right now. They're not gonna. I feel like in Tears of the Kingdom. Yes, I know that a lot of people want dungeons. I know a lot of people want this and that, but I don't think that we should set our expectations that we're gonna get dungeons in a very traditional way. They might compromise and give us dungeons, but in a different way. You know, it's a dungeon. It looks like a dungeon, forms like a dungeon, but it's not the traditional one. You know what I mean? So
I agree. I made a whole video on basically that subject, and I absolutely agree. I think that there's dungeons may not be immediately recognizable. They're still going to be fun to explore, and there's still going to be these contained areas. But sorry, go on. I don't want to hijack your.
As long as we get our epic and unique boss fights, I'm good.
Oh, for sure.
That's what I want back.
I mean, like the amount of we were training to be a champion in Breath of the Wild, and now that we're already there, so now it's time to take on the actual threat and go to more lore appropriate, dungeons and different, levels.
Totally.
Yeah.
As J2 Blue says here, remember, what's the most important question? Will we be able to pet the dog?
Someone's gonna mod it. It'll happen if they don't do it.
It's gonna be modded in.
Yeah, I hope so. I walked up to a dog on stream yesterday, and I was like, "Why can't I pet you?"
Hey, we said earlier that they listen to fan feedback, so
they do.
They better take that seriously, because that was a big complaint for Breath of the Wild. So
I
hope
they even acknowledged it too. I think
in an interview,
one of the higher ups said in an interview, they're like, "We didn't know that people wanted
it was
that.
AG. Yeah.
How could you not know?" Yeah. Do you know how many hours I wasted in Red Dead 2 just petting the dog just for no reason?
Before. Come on. In Twilight Princess, we're carrying cats. You gotta let us pet the dog, all right? Come on.
If we pet the dog, I will fuse it with the horse.
Oh my God. No. I don't think we can fuse live things together. Although I will say this: if they don't let me fuse a cuckoo to my shield, I'm gonna have a problem.
Right?
Oh my God, that'd be actually genius.
That's lethal weapon right there.
But I will be so mad.
One perfect parry in that.
I didn't know you could kill a horse, Breath of the Wild. I didn't know you could kill a horse. I actually didn't kill mine. I dropped it down a cliff and it died. And then when I met this fairy guy that just came out of nowhere, ugly fairy, oh, you killed a horse. That was fight. They're like, what the heck?
I have so much.
That's why I love this game.
No, I'm
I
like,
have
what
so many questions. Example, I know Yulia wants to know what the hell. She asked me the other day, like, what happens to the Yiga clan in the next game? I'm like, I don't know. They might not
They
be
gotta
around. I have no
return.
idea what happens.
They got to return, surely.
Yeah.
They're
They
still
have to,
hunting
right?
Link.
But
you know?
like, dude, if they return, their leader better actually be able to fight because
Probably
I don't know how
they're gonna be a
Master
good guy
Koga
this
became
time.
the leader. I don't get it.
Yeah, right.
The most annoying thing that I found in Breath of the Wild was that there's this person getting attacked by bokoblins, right? You rescue them, and then they turn into a Yiga clan person.
Mhm.
They're fighting
Yeah.
you. Next one.
I saved you. Oh, you're the Link guy. Now I kill you. What? Thanks.
Yeah, Koga better
Next
return,
time,
I swear.
it makes me not want to help random citizens anymore
Right?
for a loaf of bread they give me.
Yeah.
Literally, it's like, oh, thank you for saving my life. Here's a mushroom.
Now die.
All right.
Here's
So
a
I
sneaky
see the
potion.
mushroom or I
I don't-
die. One of the two.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I can tell you if the Yiga clan's not in here, they all went bananas.
oh shit.
Eric.
There you
What I
go.
would love to
There's
see
the-
happen is if Ganondorf's returning, right? We can pretty much agree on
Yeah.
that. And so they're all the Yiga, they love their Ganon, so they're gonna try and be like, oh, okay, hey man, we're gonna work for you now, and then he just kills them. And he's like, no, screw off.
Or
just,
they
just kills them.
They turn their Sheikah symbol upside down and they join the good side.
Oh,
Master
they
Koga.
reinforce.
the fact that if you zoom
Yeah.
in on the constructs, their
Right.
eye kind of looks a little bit like the
True.
Sheikah eye. So now people are like the Sheikah and Zonai are the same thing, and well, there's a whole lot of
Not the same,
You know,
but it is all connected.
hey, but you
Yep.
know how the eye also has a tear? What if those are the tears of the kingdom?
Ah.
oh yeah, there's a tear almost like it's part. Anyways, yeah. Look, I'm not hyping responsibly for this game at all, which is a
No.
dangerous place to be. for
Zero
me.
bet.
I've been hyping responsibly for my
We are
entire adult life.
irresponsible.
I even hyped responsibly for Breath of the Wild until I played it myself at E3, and then I was like, oh.
I remember that.
But here's the
I
thing: I
remember
haven't played this, and I'm already like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I love this. So I'm a little
You were
scared.
the
I'm
first
overhyping
person
it
to
a
beat
bit,
the
but-
Stone Atlas, right?
Yeah. The
Yeah,
Stone
I
Talus
think
when they
so.
told me not
Stone
to.
Talus. Sorry, yes.
Yeah,
They told
I-
you
I-
not
I-
to?
First
They're like, please
person
don't
to
kill
beat
that.
it at the E3 demo.
Yes. I'm sitting there. It's like my first time playing the game. Like, hey, will you record this for me? They're holding my camera, they're recording, and like they're trying to explain things to me. And I'm like, hey, I'm a Zelda guy. I'll figure this out. I started walking over to where the Stone Talus is, obviously not knowing it, because it's pretty easy in that E3 demo to get there. You just walk to the left.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like right to the left of the starting area, one of the demos. So I'm like, I'm walking, they're like, oh, don't go over there. You're not supposed to go over there. You're gonna die. And I was like, well, then I'm going over there.
Challenging question.
All the more reason to.
Look, I'm either about to kick me off this demo or I'm about to find out what the hell is supposed to kill me over here. I go over there, I kill the thing. She sets my camera down in the middle of the fight, getting all angry about it. And I'm like, okay. And like the other person standing next to her is like, what are you upset about? Like I told him not to go over there. I'm like, he can do what they want. That's
Yeah.
the whole point of the demo.
demo, yeah.
What?
That's the point of the game. Is do
Yeah,
what you
like,
want.
it's like in the guy and like when we came around again and then I finally got the recording of it, and that's the one that went viral on YouTube. If you guys ever look up like Stone Talus, I believe it is. What is it called? Step Talus. I can't remember which one was it.
Talus first.
It was Step
It was,
Talus.
yeah, it was Step. They changed the name before
Yes.
release.
Yeah. So if you
Yeah.
look up the Step Talus, like world first takedown, I actually got it down right before the Treehouse did live on their stream. So I had a video that went viral for it. That was actually the second time I took it down. The first time should have went up the day before, but didn't because of the day they didn't record. So they were talking to the person who's recording it. And he's just like, "What do you mean they put the camera down and got mad at you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have a press badge." And he's like, "Yeah, you're from Zelda Informer. Obviously, you're gonna go for the harder challenges. Right? Like we tell you
Yeah.
something's hard to you, you're gonna be like, that's what we got to do."
Right.
Like, yeah, it makes sense to me. I don't know. Took it out. Well, by the way, the second time I took it out was obviously a lot more impressive than the first time because I was figuring out the mechanics the first time. When you're fighting this all new thing, then Zelda's never worked this way. Yeah, the first time you face it, it's like, okay, I can see why you think it's hard. But mostly I'm just not used to fighting something like this in a Zelda game. I need to like get my bearings. And so I ended up taking it out. And then I was like, okay, now that I understand how it works, the next time will be easier. And obviously at this point, you're working with very minimal gear and everything. You find out later that obviously you have a hammer, it's harder and all that. But like didn't know that at the time. So I'm using a lot of bombs and a lot of stuff, whatever. Bottom line, I took it out. And like I was sold basically from that moment onwards, like just that entire demo. I let my hype go. And it scares me a bit that I'm doing that for Tears of the Kingdom already. Like, I know I have the Breath of the Wild background with it that gives me the confidence, but also IGN almost said something during the gameplay session about the game world, because a lot of people are critical that this is in the same Hyrule and blah. He never actually said it was the same Hyrule. Those words have never left his lips. What he said is, I can't remember the exact quote because Player Essence brought it up on a video 2 days ago. He actually brought up the exact words he said. It's something about a new unexplored Hyrule. And it's like, okay, like we know obviously it's the same Hyrule. Yeah, it's like, if we know obviously the base, the start was the same. We know that. But at this point of the game coming out, apparently it's so different that we just don't even know, and they're not showing us. So,
for sure.
Yeah, so I kind of feel like it's one of those that, like, maybe I just have too much faith in really stupid words because they're not showing a lot of the game. And maybe we'll see a lot more of the game by launch. I have no idea. But I honestly think that I'm going to put over 1,000 hours again in this game in my first playthrough, which scares me because that means I won't beat it in the 10 days that I said I wanted to beat it. I'll be streaming it every day for a month or so, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, right.
Oh, sorry. I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom for a month for my job. Oh, man. How bad am I?
Yeah. The worst.
The worst. Yeah. That's simply the worst.
I still wish.
When we were talking about the step,
everyone wants a demo.
No, mainly just for the. I want to see the one run through of demo of how many ways can we kill Link.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That was one of our demo runs.
Okay, that wasn't the goal.
I know.
I originally was trying to beat all 4 shrines within like the 15-minute demo, and then I went to the wrong hill. I went to the because the snow area of the tutorial area. There's the peak hill, and then the other one the shrine's on. Yeah. Well, I went to the wrong one, which of course I didn't have it memorized at that point. I had already done all 4 shrines individually, but I never actually did it in one run. So, all right, let's do this. I went to the snow one first because that was like the longest one to get to. So I'm like, if I can get to that one, I can zip over to these other ones pretty quick. Well, I went to the wrong peak, and then I realized I'm not going to have enough time. So what am I going to do with the rest of this run? Because we're recording the whole thing. So I said, all right, we're going to make this. How many different ways can I kill Link?
Yep.
And I proceeded to die like 70 times.
Oh, yeah.
It was great.
It was fantastic.
No.
I remember around that time of the demo, that was I remember that fondly because we were both at Zelda Informer at the time, and you usually headed up the E3 coverage.
Yep.
But you had went to E3 and left me with the reins, and that was very daunting because guess what? It was the big Breath of the Wild blowout. And demo footage, trailers, treehouse.
Interviews nonstop.
Crazy,
4 days.
Crazy stuff, dude. I took time off of work. I was glued to my computer. I mean, after day 3, I just had to go out and take a drive because I was so overwhelmed. I was like, I got to get out of this room right now. I was sitting at my computer.
Yeah, we're like, how does Ray do this all the time?
Shit. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I got like no sleep that trip at all. I was so busy recording content, asking questions, getting videos.
I remember you were on the shitty hotel Wi-Fi, like trying to upload stuff.
Yeah, that Wi-Fi wasn't nearly as good as the following hotel we had the next time we went, but
43, rip.
Rip. Yeah, probably rip forever.
F in the chat. We got some lo-fi Animal Crossing going on. What's up?
Yeah, that was it.
Oh boy. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about Tears of the Kingdom about?
That's what I was looking for.
Kind of went through all.
If I start, we'll be here all night. So it's.
You can start. I mean, look, the podcast usually goes another hour, but we don't have to go another hour. Right. But I'm saying, if there's anything else you want to bring up, because I just kind of wrote down things that I've just been kind of spinning in my head a bit.
Do you think that Nintendo's going to allow Link to just plow right straight in the ground coming from the Sky Islands?
Yes, I think you can die.
Yeah,
I think you can literally just flat
and die. You can break your legs.
Yeah, we have the glider. We fall off cliff before. We have the glider. We can pop right before we hit the ground, like usual.
It's not gonna be graphic, but
yeah. Obviously, it's not
we say that his body just disintegrates with a giant blood spot. Oh well, that probably would be about what would happen.
Conquer's bad for it, is it?
So my question for you guys is the stamina wheel from the gameplay presentation. Obviously, we climbed up that entire mountain. With the original game, if you only had that one, the stamina wheel, that's not enough. to climb up all the way on top of that where the rock is. Are we going to start with the full stamina from the last game, or are we starting with just like the very start?
I think we're starting
I
over
think it's
again.
probably just we're gonna start with like just the base single wheel 3 hearts.
Yeah.
They could have
And
adjusted.
I think in the footage
They could have adjusted the climbing speed.
There was like a cut as well. So
there was a
Yeah, there was
cut
a
there.
cut,
yeah,
So
there was a
he
cut.
might have like stopped to refill or like stopped.
or maybe he jumped
to...
off of something and flew over to part of the ledge.
Well, and there are also two.
It's possible.
I think they can reset it a little bit too, because of the ascend ability. If you get the ascend ability right away.
Well,
know,
yeah,
that
but you have
takes
to have a
away a lot of-
ceiling. You have to have a
No, I
ceiling.
know, but
That's
that
what I
does
was
take
feeling,
away a lot of probably climbing.
I will say
and
this.
stuff, too.
Also, they
So-
did a cut, which meant it could have just did some dev trickery.
Mhm. That's what I
That's
think it
true.
was. Probably.
That's
They
true.
literally could have just
Actually-
oh, dev menu, add stamina, move on.
I noticed
I'm just looking at the footage, and it doesn't the like piece that he climbs up to at the beginning. It doesn't fall at the top of the mountain. It lands like at a ledge that's pretty low down, so he doesn't
Yeah,
climb
it
up
does,
that high.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
so maybe
but
you
yeah.
could climb it up. Yeah,
I noticed one more.
That cut is hiding something.
Yeah,
It is,
probably.
yeah.
Hey, you know that rock?
Maybe
The
there's something they showed inside the stable they didn't want us to see.
what do you call that? What do you call that?
The recall.
Recall, right? You notice that
Mhm.
recall has a stamina wheel too, and then
Yeah,
only
it did.
goes
Yeah,
up,
it's just like stasis stamina wheel.
it only goes up so
Mhm.
high, and there's more hills up. You know, so maybe the maybe you're not able
So
to
maybe
go
stamina plus we can, or the recall plus we'll be able to go up even higher
you're
possibly.
going
Yeah.
higher.
And
Is
the
that
cool thing is you could pause that as well. So like,
Yeah,
What
let's
objects
say
were you
hit
able to-
hit L to stop or whatever. Yeah.
Yep. what objects
Yeah.
are we going to do that with? Are we going to need like recall plus to do it with enemies? Like, you know,
Yeah.
kind of,
Oh.
you know,
Yeah, I
That's
mean, stasis
The
plus you can
recall,
only
dude,
do.
if I could recall plus the enemies, that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're storming at me. No, you're not.
Yeah,
Literally,
see ya.
literally,
It'd be great for those enemies when you kill them and then they like fall off a cliff and you're like, no, I want the loot.
Yeah,
So you
I
just
want the
recall-
loot. Yep.
Bring them back up.
Get over here.
recall.
Get
come to
get
me.
back up here. We're not done
Get
yet.
combat that. Get over
I do
here.
have a one question that I just thought of. Much like Breath of the Wild, is it gonna rain every time I need to climb
Oh,
something?
yeah.
right?
Right.
Right?
man.
Yeah, I think
Because that was a
rain's still in
big
the
thing.
game, but,
Oh, no, it is.
Listen,
Yeah,
it rained every 7 minutes in the stream, like streaming it the past, every 7 minutes, like just rain, non-stop rains, crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like
And all we-
abilities like recall are like designed to like get around that. Or to,
Yeah,
to kind
well,
of
possibly.
yeah.
yeah.
There's
and
also like the
yeah.
Rivali's Gale from the first
Maybe there's
game
more
from the champion
caves than
abilities
I-
that we haven't even seen yet. So I'm guessing
true.
what we saw was their first runic abilities, I
Yeah.
guess, quote unquote runic. But now we have to find like what's going to allow us to traverse even more.
Yeah, there could be
Mhm.
even like in some of the more rain heavy areas, like say it's a heavy forest area, so there's gonna be more rain. They could have more caves, and we could use ascend to get up
yeah,
to.
yeah.
Mm.
And the thing is, like, you think about it, we had what technically 8 core abilities in Breath of the Wild, counting the champion abilities. I mean, if you think they're gonna follow that script, that means there's 4 abilities we don't even know about yet that we have to
Exactly.
learn.
I think there could even
Yeah.
be more.
I
And
agree.
it could be even more. Like here's one thing people don't think about much. I brought it up in a video today. Was that Breath of the Wild was originally made to fit on an 8 gigabyte disc on Wii U,
Mhm.
and this
Review.
game is what 18, so
Something like that.
more than double the size of the original Breath of the Wild. Now I know with the DLC it ended up being like 14 gigs, but just it's double the size of the OG release. Like there's
Mhm.
so much happening. Like
So much.
we could have 12 abilities for all we know.
Okay.
There's so much stuff. Like maybe there are dungeons, but instead of the dungeons being like, oh, new dungeon item, it's a new core ability, and we
Yeah,
use that, and now we can use that the rest of the game.
The part I'm excited
Um,
about is like the higher file size means more potential cutscenes. Like I love the story part in the cutscene aspect of, you know, the
Mhm.
memories of Breath of the Wild. That was like my favorite part.
Just whoever's
So-
voice acted in this game, just please voice act everything.
Right?
That's look. I know they're not going to voice act the entire game. That's asking too much. I shouldn't be asking too much, but it is. But whoever is voice acted, like every line, please, not just like pick and choose. Every line.
Gotta get my boy
mean-
Cass returning as well.
Oh yeah, I love Cass. I can see like some random NPC travelers that you meet. Like I wouldn't care if they weren't voice acted, but for sure every major character. It's jarring going from the cutscene where King Rome has got these big epic speeches at the beginning of the game, and he tells you all this stuff, and then you're back into gameplay and cutscene's over, and then it's just him going "ooh," and there's text. Like that's jarring,
Ugh.
you know. Like,
Yeah.
So
It's like, talk to me.
yeah, just
Talk to me.
it's like, dude, I was loving this. Come on.
Like
Yeah.
King Rope, you don't even have that many lines. Just
He doesn't.
have them spoken. You're the easiest one of all the voice acted characters to have your lines spoken. You and the Great Deku Tree, just everything be spoken. But
Yeah.
I felt that way about any character that's voice acted. I feel like needs to be that way. I would love if voice acting was there in the whole world because there are games that do that. But look, if they're not going to do that, which again we technically can't confirm because he hasn't actually talked to anybody from any of the gameplay yet, so we don't know. We just have a little Korok over in the corner, basically begging for help. Poor little Korok. Check on his back.
Didn't even stop.
we
Didn't even
already found him.
Stop.
Like,
Just
nah,
ride by.
yeah.
Nah, F that guy.
We found him already. We helped him already.
Because it was a
He's on his
Yiga
own.
Korok.
Sorry. Oh, you're just trying to find your
God.
brother. Don't
I
worry
helped
about
too
it.
many Koroks back in Breath of the Wild. I'm good now.
We've been through this 900 times. We don't need to.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's going to be really interesting just to see how they handle the voice acting, because I know that again, if they're listening to criticism, that was one of the criticism. The characters you had voiced still weren't fully voiced, and nobody really understands why, because these are key important characters in the story. Why can't every line, like when I talk to them, they should still physically talk to me back? Now maybe I get an ability to skip it, or maybe I can turn it off. I get on/off toggle, but it should be there because it just adds to the immersion of the world. And so hopefully that is something that they've learned. And granted, I cut them a little slack with Breath of the Wild. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I did, because they hadn't really dabbled in voice acting in a core Zelda game. So I was kind of like, okay, you're trying new things, and I'm just happy you're trying. Well, I'm not just going to be happy you try this time. I need more. I need to see you learn and get better. So we'll see.
With how good Ganon sounds like already, like I'm expecting a nice showing of voice acting.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. I think we'll have more characters voice acted in this game than in Breath of the Wild.
At least the guy that sells stuff, right? The guy that sells stuff with the big giant pack.
Beetle.
Beetle,
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. We need more than thank you. We need more than thank you voice acting. Come on. We need full Beetle voice acting.
But I definitely want him to say thank you like he did in Wind Waker.
Wait, so are we
Like,
going to see Tingle in the game? That'd be crazy.
Dude, that'd be
We
crazy.
better.
He better be on his islands and hey homie.
He's gonna have a
Hey, we
sky
got another
island.
phone call coming in.
Yeah, Tingle's Sky Island. Oh my gosh. A Tingle's Sky Island?
Let me take it.
It says Nintendo contacts.
Yeah, Nintendo's calling in. You're talking too much. So I told you that
ninjas.
confident.
Right?
Oh, see, he's got to
ninjas
put the
are
mic.
coming.
This is important.
Yeah.
It's dumb Bowser on the phone. We're in trouble. We
Nintendo,
revealed too much about
Nintendo
Tears of
Direct
the Kingdom.
confirmed for April 12th.
Yeah. There you go. We're you guys talking about the Nintendo Direct. How's it going? Anyways, here we'll do. I'll do Mike the courtesy and then bump him up for a second. All right. So, is there anything else you guys want to kind of touch about with Tears of the Kingdom? Like, there's other stuff too, like side quests, and I haven't seen anyone really
Base
talk about
building.
side quests yet.
Anybody base building? Any base building enjoyers?
Yeah.
Like,
So
Are we
we've
gonna
seen those
happen?
there's like foundations for buildings, and
Yep.
like building materials. Like I
think it's gonna happen.
Terrytown, that whole side quest was like one of the best side quests in Breath
So
of the
great.
Wild. I
So
can
great.
see just like that being expanded across the whole world of Hyrule, and that would be incredible.
He's Ultra Hand
Just,
as
like
well.
rebuilding. Oh yeah.
Because like, what are they going to do with Ultra Hand Plus? Like, or like, let's say if there is an Ultra Hand Plus, like, I think that base building is just, it makes sense because one of the aspects is rebuilding Hyrule in this game.
That's what it looks like, anyways. We don't know for sure.
Allegedly, yeah.
I mean, it looks like there's a lot of building materials everywhere, but technically we haven't confirmed we get to interact with any of it yet.
Well, we get to interact with
they could
building the vehicles.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
could
the
be there
random
just for
materials on the
vehicles,
ground.
but I hope it's not just for that.
Dude, if
Yeah.
I get to build my own flying Bowser Island, that'd be sick.
Oh, dude, that'd be insane.
be
Like,
sick.
I love games with base building and just sandboxes like Ark and recently Small Land. That's a really solid game, and I think that just having that aspect of just like, because it really just creates the replayability and longevity. Like I spent like thousands of hours on Breath of the Wild, so I think that if a game is a sandbox and it's a Zelda game, like I'll see you guys in 10 years. Like I'll be good for
Yeah, man.
Yeah, West
Oh,
Neo's
yeah.
channel no longer has videos for like a year. Don't worry about it. Right? He found a new passion in life.
Like Mike's back in.
All right, we'll get Mike back in here. Boop, boop. Hey, Hey, there it is.
Hey,
What's
yo.
going on?
What Doug Bowser had to say? What did we mess up?
Here's the kingdom confirmed.
Oh,
Tears of the Kingdom's confirmed. Oh well, I mean,
Oh, right. It's actually coming out.
it's real, guys. The
Oh, my
rumors are
gosh.
true.
Yeah,
There's
right.
a new Zelda game coming.
Yeah, no, it was my mama.
yeah.
I had to. If I don't pick up the phone 3 times, she'll knock on my door. And she lives like 40 minutes away, so I don't want to make her.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mama
respect to
Odyssey.
Mama Odyssey.
Mama,
Honestly.
my
Yeah,
time
so,
is coming.
yeah.
Priorities, yes, sir. Respect it.
Mhm.
She heard that I was sick, and she would call me like 10 times because of I'm saying like, "Hey, you feeling better? Feeling better? Feeling like that."
All I know
That's
is
man.
I want some more Eventide Island
Yeah.
style stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was such a brilliant idea, and I want to
Mhm.
see it expanded upon.
And I would love also master mode to launch with the game and then have like
Yes.
another like even harder master mode right after. Do we have like in DLC or something?
Yes.
That's the mode.
And give us like
difficulty
another
options are
Trial of
always
the Sword
good.
as well.
Yes. Also,
Yeah,
just yes.
Trial of the Sword is
Everything
so
yes.
lit. I so awesome. I want
I-
something else new.
master mode.
This is a really small nitpick, but I want just to have like I didn't like that Breath of the Wild. You couldn't have more than one save file, unless you were having like
Oh,
a
it's
normal
so
mode and a
annoying.
master mode.
I've got like
Every
5
other
different
Zelda
accounts on
game
my
you-
Switch.
I know. I don't want that.
I'm like
want to do that.
account 1 Breath of the Wild save, account 2 Breath of the Wild save. It's like
Mhm. Just let me have multiple because sometimes there's some save files that are like especially just special, and I never wanted to delete them.
Well,
and there's
the-
some
the-
that I'll
yeah.
just like cycle.
I'll say this: like my first save file playthrough, like I don't want to have that touched. There's just
Exactly.
I want to be able.
It's
To, I don't want to have to
special.
go on a different account to replay it. I don't want to have to reset it. By the way, my original save file is long gone, but it makes me mad that it is long gone because I
Mine
don't
doesn't.
want to keep making extra accounts to play the
Still
game.
got mine.
You just
Mhm.
like even my
Restarting a
master mode-
save file like hurts for me. Like
yeah,
it
my
really
master
hurts.
mode
Yeah.
runs on a second account right now because I know I'll never delete that master mode run now.
Mhm.
And it's kind of like it's dumb. It should just all be on one account, and I should be able to have at least 3 save files like in every other Zelda game. I just
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 save files
Like,
per
that's a
like
big
master
thing.
mode as well as like the normal mode. Yeah, because like
Yeah.
I've been playing on an emulator as of lately just because like I was continuing to start new runs and it's like I don't want to make another Nintendo account. Like I just don't want to do that. I've already got like 5 profiles on my Switch, so I'm like I'll just play it on CMU so I so I don't have to continue to mess up the saves. So,
yeah.
And that's the thing is like my most recent playthrough of Breath of the Wild, I did on normal mode because my master mode save file that I had on that profile was my stream save file. And I got stupidly sentimental about it. I was like, no, this isn't just my save file. My whole stream community like is invested in this save file. And even though I completed it 100%, I can't delete it. It's like I can't bring myself to
that
do
was
it.
one of the reasons
So I
why
was
I
like,
modded
okay,
my Switch as well. Because
There
like
you
I did the save file like the homebrew save file thing, so I could keep my original save for Breath of the
There
Wild.
you
Like
go.
I've got like 3 homebrewed Switches, so that was one of the things I
I'm
wanted to
sentimental
keep as
about
my
this stuff, man.
yeah.
See, I gotta
Yeah.
test something out. The only thing that I'm curious about right now when it comes to the save file things is I was thinking about buying an Australian digital copy early, right? And just making my Switch the primary Switch, but then playing it on my normal main account. And if I could then pop in the cartridge when I get it and keep that save file. I've never actually
I
tested
don't.
You should be
I've
able
tried
to,
it with
yeah.
mini
because it's
games,
region
but
free.
it's hard saying.
It's
Mhm.
but it's region free. So like I don't know. I know I could just test it. I could literally just go buy some indie game quick and just see if it transfers.
As you should, yeah. As long as you're on the same
I definitely
profile.
want to test it out because then I'll be able to play the game 12 hours early. That can make a difference in my plans too. So
if you change your because I do a lot of the AU stuff as well as like the Japan. I've got a
Yeah.
Japan copy as well, or like a Japan like Switch account. I'll check, but I don't know if it like actually transfers.
yeah,
Because
that's
like
all
I've
I
got
wanna
like
know.
I
If
created
have to
another
reach
account.
the save file, then there's no real purpose to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
But I've never actually tested it. I just like, well, it's region free. Why not? As long as I have a like legal copy of the game. and
So
then
you're
the
like
region-
you're playing it on whenever you
so
start up the
so-
game, you have to select the account. If
Yeah,
if you don't
yeah.
select the AU account, then
Yeah. No. So how the Switch works is you set an account to be the primary account on the Switch, okay?
Mhm.
And any games that primary account has, any secondary accounts on there can play it on that Switch. So what would happen is I'd take my Switch, I'd make it my Australian primary Switch,
oh okay,
and then I
play
would
another
have my American account on there, which will be able to play it as a secondary thing. But then if I switch it back to that being my primary and I have a physical copy and I put it in, can I continue my same save file that I started before? In theory, it should
I'm
work.
pretty sure if it's as you're using the same profile, like I'm pretty sure it works.
Yeah,
I just wish Nintendo made this
stuff
stuff easier because
like
like I would say I have multiple Switches and like I ended up making the Switch my son plays on the primary one because like the primary console because then any games I buy digitally then he can play on his own profile, whereas any other, if it wasn't the primary console, then he would have to use my profile and that'll affect my stats and stuff like that. He's not playing on my profile. So Nintendo just like, I love this company, but they do some ass backwards weird shit with their online stuff. And I just wish they would make things like that aspect of it easier to understand for people and just like more accessible, because
I should probably
I don't want to like fiddle with what console and which profile is the primary one in the household.
I should test
so my kids can play
let me know your
Minecraft.
findings as well, because I've got an AU account as well. Now, one question that I have for you guys is this: do you guys remember whenever Pokemon Scarlet and Violet dropped? Do you guys remember whenever like the actual files leaked early, and people like could play the game on their emulator online? Do you guys see that happening with Tears of the Kingdom?
It's gonna leak. It's gonna leak.
Yeah, every Switch game.
I'm going to leak it. No, I'm
going to leak it.
I'm going to. No.
The Nintendo Ninjas are coming for you.
Just remember, Bolson's going big time with the new Terry City. Just don't forget.
Yes.
Dude, I would love to see, like, we talked about like potentially having to rebuild parts of Hyrule. Like, what? I want to build cities, man. I love that quest. And
I want my base, dude. I want, like, we got Link's house in the first game. Like, I want to be able to have my own house.
Dude, I want to have like my own village, and I can invite, like, dude, imagine you can invite NPCs you like to come live in your own village,
just like Terrytown. Yep.
I want to build a space. Go to the moon.
All of that, but more customization. Like Link's house and Terrytown are awesome to have in Breath of the Wild, but I want to be able to customize them more.
They don't feel fleshed out. They don't feel fleshed out.
It's a half-baked sort of.
Yeah, it's like we had a good idea, and here it is, but like we never really did anything with it.
Did you guys play Fallout 4? Any Fallout 4 enjoyers?
Yeah, I played it.
Okay, so Fallout 4's got a system, the settlement system, and I'd love to see something like that in Tears of the Kingdom, where, like, if you have like just a central base, then you'll have settlers that come through and they'll set up shops and they'll do basically the same thing that Terrytown is, but it's kind of automated. I would love to see that in Tears of the Kingdom.
That'd be cool.
I got 2 words: space, cowboys.
Well, here we go. You're not giving up on this whole moon thing, are you? They're going out outer space.
The moon thing? Am I on Andre's Research channel now?
Wait for September. Starfield is coming out.
Yeah, dude. Andre's Research is way on the moon thing. We're going to the moon.
He's on the moon.
His boss battle is on the moon with the mines in the moon, and the moon is going to crash on the earth. And
dude, we're combining Majora's Mask with Skyward Sword, and it's just, we're having a blast.
It's just a game theory.
The moon, man. We're gonna find
Matt Pat's coming over here and trying to tell me how wrong I am about everything.
We'll find
the moon spirit to kill it.
At the end, it's not the mice, it's Elon Musk and the moon.
All right, let's maybe wrap up the Tears of the Kingdom, because like we can go.
That was the last straw for Nate.
No.
We're
I want us to kind of go around and pick like one thing we want to see from Breath of the Wild be improved in Tears of the Kingdom, because this isn't really being talked about anymore. It's like, oh, we got some game. I'm like, yeah, but let's just be honest. There's things that can be better. So what do we want to see get better? I'm going to start with Eric. I'll give him the first crack before everyone says his ideas.
Yeah, don't give me time to think of ideas.
Nope, you get no time.
No time. Oh, jeepers.
Just one thing you'd like to be improved.
I don't know.
I've got to go to no matter what.
I know you do. Of course you do.
No, I didn't until just now. I just thought of it.
Oh, nice.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Okay, we'll start with Darren, the long lost former co-host. Darren,
and why actually showed up?
And why did he stop becoming co-host? Because he stopped showing up. But he showed up.
I'm here now. Overworld population. I want more people, more settlements. I want it all. Cities, hopefully. I don't know if that's too much to ask, but I just want more life in the world. Not to say that it was a big gripe in the first game, But now having played the first game, that whole situation was fine. I didn't feel like it was like a super negative situation where I was wishing like, oh, I wish there was more here or there. But now that we have a sequel coming, that's something I want to see improved on. Let's see some more life in the overworld.
Well, now Ganon kills them all at the beginning.
I was saying,
Well,
you might have less life depending on how much.
we might. We'll see.
Dead
We'll
bodies
see.
all over Hyrule Field.
You got one yet, Eric? Nope. All right, next. Let's go to Wes.
Okay, so mine is it's kind of like it. I'm gonna change things up just a little bit. Okay, it's actually a feature from Hyrule Warriors. So if you guys ever played the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity,
Yeah.
you know they had the weapon fusing system in that game as well. So I'd love to see something very similar to that system where like you've got the fusing that you can do with your hand. I'd love to see the system in the menu where you can actually fuse weapons from there and use it to like repair based on weapons you already have and just have that feature implemented in Tears of the Kingdom. I think that'd be sick, but
Yeah, so one thing we haven't seen the full menu system yet, so we don't know what we can do in there.
Exactly. Yeah, and what's funny is like we've known about the word fuse forever with Hyrule Warriors, and like whenever it happened with Tears of the Kingdom, we're just like, whoa, this fuse name is so cool, but like it's already we've already had it done,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would even be happy if that ability was like tied to an NPC who was like a blacksmith. You had to like bring it to him and bring him to
sure,
even that would be fine. Yeah.
So you can repair your weapons, you can create new weapons based on like you take a fused weapon that you've already made and then just like have that, infused to something else. It'd be cool.
Can you fuse two horses together? That's the question.
There you go.
I think that's outside of the blacksmith scope of this.
With horses. Especially with horses is
I got one that hasn't been brought up. I mean, it was brought up in a little.
using horses.
No, I wasn't horses. Because they're doing this in this massive world, right? We do have rain. We have too much rain. We have thunderstorms, but I would like to see more weather, like a tornado just show up all of a sudden and just kind of make it there, like different types of weather, snow, just all of a sudden, seasons.
More dynamic weather.
Yeah,
Acid rain.
Exactly. Yeah, not so much rain all the time, but more weather.
Climate change.
Yeah, climate change.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
Should have known that was going to come up.
More weather patterns.
Sure.
Well, seasons.
Snow.
We get like an Al Gore parody character, like shouting in the town square.
Oh boy.
All right.
I got one. I actually.
Oh, Eric has one. All right, what do you got?
All right.
Was
If
inspired
they
by
do
the weather.
keep with the shrines, I'd like to see a little bit more variety because there are like some shrines in there where it kind of got a little old going, and then okay, I got to fight this little guardian. Okay, I've done this about 10 times. Why? Can I do something different? I like
Fight a different enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Variety.
Yes.
Variety.
Yes.
Nintendo.
If they still go the shrine route, that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see each one be almost its own individual thing, not repeating. I do like more of the shrine as a reward for solving the puzzles. I like to see more of those, flesh those out a little bit more too. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for is more variety and
That's a good
less
one.
repetitive of shrines if they do keep going that route.
I mean, you could just really expand that to most of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
A lot of sameness with like the enemies and just a lot of things, the themes, a lot of very same stuff. It would be nice to have a lot more variety, which we already know we got more variety with the enemies because we have all the old enemies and new enemies. So we already know there's more variety. We just don't know how far that variety goes.
Yeah.
Cap, what do you got?
So Breath of the Wild had a lot of side quests, and actually what got me thinking about this was Darren talking about replaying Majora's Mask, which is a very side quest heavy game, and so with the amount of side quests, I want that retained. I want there to be a lot of side quests. So it's like a game world this big needs that, but I felt like a lot of the sort of the rewards that those side quests offered in Breath of the Wild were rather lackluster. Like you'd go, you do this side quest, whatever, and then you get like 20 rupees, and it's like, well, that's not really fun. So I think it would be cool to see more of those side quests have rewards that were more unique or more just like worthwhile
More meaning.
getting than just like money or a monster part or a diamond or something like something a little more useful. Yeah. Something more helpful.
Or
more,
at least let me know what I'm getting before let me decide if I want to go. Is this quest worth it?
yeah, if the person was
Yeah,
like,
well,
if you do
like
this,
a-
and I'll
like a
give you
true-
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of
Mhm.
like I like this World of Warcraft. I played so much of it. You get a quest and it tells you the reward at the end. So like
Mhm.
oh, do I really want to go for this or not? Yeah, just give it at least a hint. I could see that. That's like a more
Maybe
traditional.
more heart containers. Another way of earning heart containers. Maybe have those little heart containers in pieces like they had in
Heart
other
pieces.
games before. You know,
Mhm.
just something.
Expanded storage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
what I
the
want.
thing is like previous Zelda games have made it so that like side quests are usually worth doing because you'll get more hearts or you'll get more, like a bigger quiver so you can now hold more arrows or a bigger
Yeah,
bomb
or the
bag
big,
and now
or the
like,
big bag, hold more
or
rupees.
yeah. So that, like, and Breath of the Wild was so limitless with like, okay, well, you don't need a bigger quiver because you can hold 999 arrows, so it doesn't matter. But but like Koroks, at least I would say, were most like up to a certain point were worth collecting because then you got inventory expansion. Whereas basically every other side quest, the rewards were pretty minimal. There were very few unique items or things like that.
I wouldn't mind if they changed it up, like instead of the Korok thing, because Korok's on the game and they'll have something going on, I'm sure, for collection purposes. But like for expanded storage, I would like to see a better approach where maybe there's just like a long quest chain that you do that leads to like, hey, now you can expand your weapons by 5, add 5 extra slots at the end of this chain, like just something that feels more in depth than just like I picked up a rock randomly and now I have enough Korok seeds. Like because that makes you also feel connected to the world and also makes you feel like you earned it. Rather than just being like, hey, there's 900 of these. You don't even need all 900 to get all the inventory slots. And it's just
Sort of
I mean,
like
I think that
GTA
was
Online and getting Mark II weapons. Like that's sort of a long chain quest to do that. So if you want to upgrade your weapons by 5 and Tears of the Kingdom, having some sort of similar side quests would be welcome, I think.
Yeah, well, one of
it.
my favorite side quests was obviously the Terry Town thing, but that was a really long-winded quest to get that town up.
Yeah,
a lot of wood.
That felt great.
A lot of wood.
A lot of wood. But it was a really long-winded quest chain of multiple things you had to do along the way to get the town started. And obviously there was still stuff you could do to expand it a little bit. But it was I liked that, where like it's a very in-depth, complex chain of quests that leads to a really unique reward at the end. I like that.
So one thing that I'd like to talk about real quick is like, speaking of storage and whatnot, if you guys remember the first trailer, the sequel trailer, you saw like the big ox thing. It had a slew of different stuff on top of it. Are we going to be able to like, have that fox, like, lead the fox or not the fox, the ox somewhere and just like utilize its storage capabilities to like, hey, here's like a tent that I can use to sleep, and here's like a pot and pan that I can use.
That would be cool if you had different, like even just your horse had like some storage even as well. Like that would definitely be a cool concept to expand on.
Sort of like a donkey in Minecraft.
Like, so actually, Mike, whenever he said fuse something to a horse, maybe you fuse weapons or pots and pans to a horse, and that's how they carry it.
If you fuse a basket to the horse's butt and you can carry stuff.
There you go. I mean,
here we go with the horse fusing again.
It's not horse. Like,
I love it.
I love it. Ass, so I'm always throwing things at it to get the bucket.
I'm dreading how Mike's horse is gonna.
You mean Mike's 25 fused together horses?
You don't even see the horse anymore.
Horse ball.
You don't even able to tell it's a horse anymore.
It's like a Katamari Damacy.
Katamari,
What is that? Oh, that's my horse.
I'm already picturing what I'm gonna do with the horse, because you see that cannon that they showed in the Tears of the Kingdom, like the cannon arm that Link has at a certain point.
Sure.
That's gonna be the horse's head, a cannon.
We got
fire charges.
Hilarious.
In the chat, someone saying Overzeal says Tears of the Kingdom should draw side quest inspiration from RuneScape.
That's interesting.
All right.
Side quests in RuneScape are pretty good.
Yeah.
Is that just
I don't
like
know how many people
gathering or like trying to find materials,
RuneScape, but
like mining materials? I've never played RuneScape, so I don't know.
You know what I enjoyed from the old games, Zelda games, that I think they should bring back is like Link, like being all celebratory when he gets a new item. Like he goes like.
Well, he did whenever he fused something. He was just like, "Whoa!"
He held it up. He's like,
yeah. He was like, "Whoa!"
Like this.
That's sick.
So the thing I was gonna put out there was I kind of just want, more customization in general, like being able to change the horseshoes on my horse to change how well it rides. Obviously being able to add satchels and stuff to carry some. That's just like the horse. We could talk all day about that, but like anything, like even the gear, like yeah, we could paint the gear before, but I want to do more. I want to do way more. I want to like let's say I have a favorite gear set, but I want to increase its durability, right? Or its defense. Yeah, we had the great fairy fountain stuff before, but how about instead of that, hey, I'm mining all this metal ore. I want to take it and make plate armor that I put underneath it. Like I want like just high levels of customization in like every facet of the game. Like we have some in many facets, but then it feels like other things are just completely ignored. Like, oh, yeah, you can customize all this, but this, no.
But if you see this,
for you.
Maybe that's something in this that we saw in the statue. How Link has like several layers. That chainmail, maybe you can actually fuse or make your own.
Oh yeah, on the
like different layered.
Yeah, you can actually put together some
layered armor.
Yeah, to make it, So maybe you're on.
Yeah, and I think this was brought up jokingly before, but like, hey, fusing armor sets together. I don't know.
Well, I think
being able to transmog as well, I think would be cool.
Yeah, transmog. Yeah,
I believe it was Assassin's Creed Odyssey where you could have any armor set you liked because of the cosmetics, but you could basically have the attributes of a different armor set.
Yeah, that's transmog.
Yeah,
that's transmog. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think Horizon also did that.
Cool.
Yep, Horizon got. I don't know if no.
Forbidden West, not Zero Dawn. I think.
Yeah, Forbidden West.
Forbidden West had it. Yeah,
that would be a really cool mechanic to have because I remember in Breath of the Wild there were certain armor sets that I wanted to wear that they looked cool, but I was really wearing it for the attributes. But I really wanted to have on the green tunic and whatnot.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just for the aesthetic of it, because
there are some armor sets in Breath of the Wild that are straight up ugly. So
yeah,
useful but straight up ugly.
I was always wearing the barbarian set, but
I
wasn't a huge fan of the aesthetics of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I hear you. Okay. Well, I think that might be a good place to wrap things up before we get some more fusing ideas with horses from Mike.
Do you
fuse a horse to another horse?
Listen,
he did best in the Master Sword and the horse together, so I'm good right now.
How about fusing a horse with the tree? Then you get limited apples as you ride.
Hey,
right. I'm surprised you didn't say fuse a fishing pole to the horse's head with the apple at the end.
Yeah.
So it's always changing.
No, it has to be with the butt or the tail.
Oh my God. What is it with the butt? What's happening? I didn't know horse ass was a thing that we obsessed over.
The head Freudian.
Yeah.
He's a fan to the horse.
I'm so glad that this is not a children's channel.
Anyways, I hope that you cannot use fuse with NPCs or anything because Mike is gonna go full human centipede and
he's gonna be
just ruin
pyramid of people with the horse at the top. And take a picture. He's gonna go food chain.
I want to fuse with Ganon.
Beetle and Tingle
to a horse's ass.
Yeah.
Everyone's fused to the horse's ass. Don't worry about it. Oh man. All right. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode 15 of the Tenor Prime Podcast. Let's go around the table and say what we got going on and where they can find you. Let's I guess we'll just start with Darren, who I don't know what he has going on. What's up, man? What are you doing?
I don't have much going on. I'm on Twitter at RealDern.
Darn.
I'm out here.
You created the original password for my Twitter account back in the day?
I did. I created the Twitter handle and all that jazz, Ninty Prime. That was all me. Horrible handle. But I did it. And I'm not really doing anything in the video game sphere as of right now, except for apparently this podcast.
Hey, you requested on. I didn't even ask you.
So. I did specifically.
You miss it. Just admit you miss it. Zelda game's coming up, and you're just like, I miss the old days.
The nostalgia is real, and I hope to return. So.
Oh no!
Oh no! What? No! The comment.
Brian Doe with the $2. I will be the one to say it's Horsepede. Is its name? I'm just we're gonna go there.
Oh boy!
If anyone knows that movie reference,
yep.
All right, yep.
Thumbs up, Brian. Thumbs up.
It's a great reference.
I just wanna tell Eric. I think I remember that he's a Packers fan.
Oh yeah,
and your team's gonna suck this season.
I
So
Probably.
it's possible.
Skull.
like I hope
I'm not
Jordan Love
expecting
balls
anything, I
out,
can tell you
but
that.
you're missing some key players in your receiving core. So we'll see how that pans out. But I can't really say much because I'm a Washington fan. So
Oh yeah.
uh,
We're the Washington.
Yeah,
We're the
that-
Washington fan. Yeah, you've been waiting to talk smack about a good team.
Yeah.
I don't
yeah,
blame you.
I have.
Can't you
been,
just make
I
fun
have
of the
been.
Cowboys every year? That's what
I
I
mean,
would
yeah.
do as a
No,
Washington
listen. I'm gonna take a page from the Cowboys playbook and say this is our year. So
Who's your quarterback this
see
year?
it. Sam Howell.
Yeah.
He's
Good
a
luck.
rookie. Hey, he's
I
a
know.
rookie, and he's currently undefeated in the NFL. He's 1-0. His
Mhm.
first pass was a touchdown pass. And
Hey, I'm
yeah,
in Washington right now in one of my Madden leagues, and Sam Howell's my guy, baby. He's taking
Hey.
me to the championship game twice.
There
Just
you
can't
go.
quite get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, it's yeah.
All right. Wes Nemo, what you got going on? Where can they find you?
Yeah, so it's just look up YouTube, West Name on YouTube, covering God of War Ragnarok. Just released a new game plus update, covering some Hogwarts Legacy, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and basically just everything gaming. Cover it all. Skull Vikes, and yeah, go check me out on the YouTubes.
On the tubers. The tubes.
You just
Mm,
crossed a
YouTubes.
subscriber milestone, right? Didn't I see that?
Oh yeah,
back in February,
shit.
I believe.
yep,
Have you
hitting
heard
nice
of
little
Yeah.
under okay.
No, I'm coming for you. I'm catching up.
Oh, you're getting there, dude.
I'm catching up.
Gotta pop the champagne. Get ready for the.
7. I'm under 10K away. Just look up. Anyways,
Okay, dude.
Social Blade has me at 100K a year from now, so I'll be up there.
Social Blade has me at 100K in like
Yeah,
a week.
congrats, by the way, Mike.
Yeah.
Good stuff, dude.
That being said, speaking of Mike,
GG's all around.
congratulations on 30K, Mike.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate it,
Congrats,
man.
congrats.
I'm
Man,
on my way to
No, you
31.
would.
Also, congrats to Andres Restart for 20K, but he's not here, so I couldn't. They both hit
not.
this milestone in the last week. The 20K
W.
and 30K.
Yeah.
We're getting some dubs around here. Mike, what you got going on? Where can they find you?
First of all, 30K. I want to say thank you, guys, everybody here on the panel. Thank you guys for your support. You guys are amazing. And everybody in the chat as well. 30K is crazy. And then averaging 4,800 subscribers per month. I've never thought I would ever do that in my life. So from here, 2 months from now, we'll be celebrating 40K and 50K. Thank you, Wes, for your mentorship. And, that's
All you, buddy. All you, buddy.
That's turned us all around.
Yeah, like from the last time I talked to Wes to now, I've gained like 20,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Wes is the key. He's the key to the kingdom of YouTube.
What I have right now is the very ambitious 36-day tomorrow, 36-day stream until Tears of the Kingdom. And if you want to hear me talk about all of my ideas of what else got confused with horses, then
What? Wait, what? Wait, where are we going with this?
come check me out. I'm streaming every day from 7. From 7? From 8? No, from 7. I can't remember what it was. So 7. Can somebody in the chat tell me what was it? Is it 7 or 8? I can't remember. Anyway, it's only a 2-hour stream. 2-hour stream.
Sure.
And yeah, I'm trying to stream every single day. I went from streaming and not streaming at all
So now you're like a full timer.
so streaming every day. Streaming every night until Tears of the Kingdom comes out. So yeah, I mean, I got a lot of ideas. I'm working to merge with horses. You just have to come by. I'll tell you a couple of them.
I'm definitely going to stop by
He'll
for that.
attempt to make it happen in
I'll
Breath
be
of the
there.
Wild.
I have concerns.
Use any percent, bro.
Yeah,
Or use any percent.
I have a lot of concerns.
While I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild in Master Mode.
I got a feeling his ideas are much more PG on his own stream.
Oh yeah, it has to be. It has to
It'll be like he saved the PG-13 stuff for here on his channel. He's too family friendly to go. Hey, what can we attach to the horse's ass? I don't know. I guess we just find out.
A horse's
A
ass.
horse's ass to
We
a
can
horse's
attach
ass.
a horse's ass to a horse's ass.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
so
great.
yeah, check out the stream. I'm trying to break 100 viewers. If you can stop by.
Yeah, I see some of your streams are over 50 and 60. I saw. It's going
The
pretty good.
for some reason the very first one, I think it at one point it went to 500 viewers, but I think it's because they thought I was streaming Tears of the Kingdom. I'm like,
Oh yeah, the title of that thing made it sound like Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah.
Good stuff.
I said Tears of the Kingdom countdown live stream.
Yeah. But they're like, Tears of the Kingdom. Tune it. Oh,
It's just
he's just a guy playing Breath of the Wild.
live stream. But anyway, yes, that's all.
You tricked the algorithm for a moment.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the Atomic Podcast making a huge return.
Nice.
Very soon. I'm gonna put on an announcement soon. I have to check with the crew to make sure they're all on board for that specific day. Once I have confirmation, the Atomic Podcast. So you're gonna have on Mondays you have Aldridge Restart, Wednesdays you have NP Prime, and Fridays you'll have the Atomic Podcast. So you guys have Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays podcast day stuff. So that's what's
nice. Nice. That's all I'm gonna say. Is nice.
I'll stop talking now because I'm talking.
It's all right. The good old Captain. Where can they find you at? What do you got going on?
Buongiorno. Yeah, everything. All social medias are Capt Burgerson. That's CAPTBURGERSON. As in, oh my gosh, the captain of this boat is an actual burger, but it's my dad. And yeah, I make a lot of Zelda videos. So if you like Zelda videos, if you like Zelda dungeons and dungeon level design analyses and Tears of the Kingdom speculation, or you just want to hang out and watch me stream and do wacky voices for all the characters in Phantom Hourglass or something crazy like that, that's what's going on my channel. So
you have any ideas on how to merge horses? Maybe we're gonna combine streams and talk about that.
But we should. Maybe we should.
Boy.
But I do have an upcoming video about what I think is going to go on with the Master Sword in this game. So it's look out for that next week. It's gonna be good.
Nice.
And you guys should go check out his channel for all of his dungeon analysis videos. They are the best.
Oh yes,
on the whole of YouTube.
I love me some dungeons.
The whole of YouTube. So go check those out. Again, all channels are linked down in the description if you guys can't figure any of that out. Eric, what do you got going on? Where can they find you?
Here.
Yes,
That's it.
Yes.
Well, at emo8790 on Twitter. But I mean,
yeah,
he's not gonna read. Well, he'll read.
Oh, I read.
He'll read. It's funny how I'll mention something that happened on Twitter. He's like, "Oh, I know, I read."
Yeah,
he's no problem. He's following all of my tweets on Twitter.
He's the lurker.
He's
I'm
a
gonna send
massive
him hate
lurker.
mail
He
about the
found out
Packers
earlier.
off season.
Oh, I'm on Cat Ferguson's live stream. I'm not gonna say hi. I'm just gonna.
I had no idea, but thank you, Eric, for tuning in.
I'll say hi
Appreciate
next
it,
time.
man. Yeah.
Anyways, you guys know who I am at this point because this is obviously the Nintendo Prime Podcast Show. But if you don't and you're new, I'm not really surprised. Literally in the last 3 days, we've gained 2,800 subscribers in the last 3 days. I don't know what's happening. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it. At
it's
this
all
rate,
the sweet Reddit promotion you're getting.
yeah, I'm sure. It's
Shout out to
Reddit,
r/Tears
baby.
of the Kingdom.
Shout out to r/Tears of the Kingdom. Absolutely, they love me there. I'm their favorite content creator.
I see
in the
Nintendo
whole
Prime
world.
pop up on that sub every day, and it makes my day every time.
They're pretty silent when he's right, though.
Yeah. No. When I'm right, they just say I'm a broken clock. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, a
cool.
broken clock that has a scoop.
I'm a
I
broken
don't know how
clock.
that works, but
Hey, you know what got announced today that I was right on again, just to pat my own back? Hey, Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster is coming to Switch this month. It's almost like I said that a year ago or something. Pat myself on the back for that one that everyone called me a liar last year. Anyways, it's almost like when I know things. I just don't always know when it's going to happen. I just know it's coming. Anyways, yeah, look, I don't know what's happening. At this rate, we'll be at 100K by next week's podcast. I have no clue if the pace is going to maintain for that, but thank you guys. It's been an absolutely incredible journey. One thing happened to me this week that I didn't expect, and I guess it was just the whole. I'm slowly like leaving the small YouTuber crowd in terms of expectations on my channel, and I don't know what to do about that. So I'm just going to keep doing my thing until it doesn't work anymore.
Well, you let me know when you find
you're
out.
gonna get lost in the success.
No, like it's weird because now like there's
you're gonna switch up on us.
I'm so used to being like this dinky YouTuber to do whatever he wants. Now it's like, but now I got to be even more careful because if I say one thing, if I take like one wrong misstep, it isn't just like one person that complains. It becomes like 100 people, and then it becomes this big drama. And I'm like, okay,
a whole subreddit.
Yeah, it becomes a whole subreddit. Like I have to, like, I'm just not used to that because the explosion honestly happened over like the last few months. And I went from like a nobody that nobody listened to now people are listening and I'm getting like 30,000 views on videos and I don't know what to do with that. So I'm just going to keep doing my thing because my thing keeps working. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I'm really sorry about the mistakes I make. I do want to be better. I do want to learn from the mistakes. But thank you guys for joining me on this journey. It's been incredible. The podcast is getting more views than ever. You guys are awesome. Thank you to all the guests we have on all the time. You know, a bunch of you guys have been on multiple times, except Darren. I mean,
I used to be on all the time.
Used to be on. Well, I don't know about all that. We delayed podcasts for you that you didn't show up.
There was that one podcast I showed up to drunk and then disappeared halfway through.
Yep.
So
Remember that one?
that.
Yep.
I kind of figured you were getting late or something. I don't know. I just
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just passed out.
Oh, okay.
With
Well,
my dick in my hand, but...
in your dream.
On that note,
but no, seriously, thank you guys for all the support. It's been absolutely incredible. You can obviously follow our podcast everywhere podcasts are heard. We'll get last week's episode, I think, up tonight. Hopefully this week's episode up tonight too. We'll see. But thank you guys so much for all the support. It's been absolutely incredible. The podcast is my favorite piece of content I do every single week. I want to continue to keep this podcast growing. I would like to see this podcast one day hit 30,000 views every episode. That would be awesome. Because this is literally the foundation of Nintendo Prime. For those who don't know, we were a podcast before we were anything else. Before we had a website, before we did other YouTube content, it was a podcast, and it's been here still to this day. And we're going to keep it going for as long as I'm doing this thing. So, or I should say, as long as I have enough friends that want to come on a show and talk with me, because I'm kind of an asshole sometimes, and I'm really sorry about that.
Well, Nate, I think you're doing great. I think everyone here is doing great. Mike, Wes, Daniel, I think you guys are all doing great. Eric is here. But you know, I think you're doing good. So congratulations to everybody on all the subscribers that they're getting recently. And
we gotta get Cat Ferguson.
Congratulations. Yeah, absolutely.
We gotta get you up here. You're the next one we gotta bring up. We got like this thing going. We keep carrying people up. We gotta get the next person up. So you're let me see. Here's the thing. If there's ever a channel that deserves more views and more attention, it is Cat Ferguson. You need to check out his damn content.
Hold on, let me go to the channel.
His content is so next level.
Am I subscribed to Cat?
It's not too kind. It's the truth, man. Like one of my most high viewed videos on my channel is one that you made back when it was Zelda Informer. You know, like that whole theory about what was it? The Dragon Break theory.
Yes.
Like that was amazing. And he just makes content like that all the time on his channel. And he's had success. He had some success doing some of the Splatoon content a bit ago, but he deserves so much more attention. He's the smallest creator here besides Darren, who doesn't create anymore. So he's the smallest creator here. But
I'm creating here.
His content is some of the inspiration for mine, and you guys should really just go. I know I have a massive Zelda audience right now because I'm spamming those Zelda videos because I love talking Zelda. Go to his channel, man. You're going to see an in-depth look at Zelda in a way I can't do anymore because I don't focus on just Zelda. I know it feels like I do right now, but I don't do that. And he focuses primarily on Zelda. I'm telling you, like any of your favorite Zelda games, just go. He's got videos for you. I kid you not. If Cat Ferguson's not at 20,000 subscribers by the end of this year, I'll be disappointed. I'm going to shout him out every week.
Listen.
I mean, my goal was like 5. So
yeah, no, we're getting to 20. We're jumping. We're jumping that.
Wait. 20K by summer.
Oh
my god.
There we go. That's ambitious.
I mean, my channel's pretty new because I did work on like other people's channels before. But I feel like it gave me a head start that once I was ready to like really go all in on my own content, I had the skill set to like, you know, to take with me there. So
I think you had the skill set for a lot longer than you realize.
You think that, but if I like going to watch some of my old videos, I'm like, man, this editing is shit. Like this is some crap editing.
Go watch the first Nintendo Prime videos. It's pretty bad.
Well, hey man, you know the fact that you even say that just means that you know in your own eyes your editing has come a long way, which means your channel's headed for success. So
yeah,
that's great to hear.
I appreciate it.
Just keep it up, man.
It means a lot.
Yeah. Like you guys, you know, every time we have him on, you're instantly a crowd favorite, and I'm like, and you guys better be subscribed if he's your favorite. Come on now.
Yeah, man. For sure.
All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this week. Catch you guys same time next week, exactly 1 month out from Tears of the Kingdom.
Let's go.
Can't wait.
Later, guys.
Peace.
Skirt, skirt.
Love you. Bye.
Hey.